Right.
This is your boneheaded idea.
Right. They're like, you get to sit at the kids' table.
Forever.
I bet that would be tough. That would be tough to do.
Dan, are we up yet?
We are up on Facebook and YouTube. You guys got quiet all of a sudden.
We're waiting.
Genesis. I'm going to sneak in an extra since we missed him. I left. Did we ever talk to the one deadbeat? Vincent Torres. Did you ever talk to him?
No.
I left him a message.
No, I never. No, never called him.
And then, did you ever talk to anybody at the siding company?
No. No, that was basically the deputy and stuff that went out there.
Deputy JL. Are we going to have Deputy JL up? Gun safe stolen. That sucks.
Oh, he's coming. Good. Yeah.
Who?
They stole his whole safe.
What do you mean?
They took his whole safe out
From where?
of his house.
Holy shit.
And he tried to get a new safe because Champion's thing says if it's broken into and stuff, they get it. And he says, well, it's stolen out of your house. But now he got a gun was already covered by the police that was in the safe. So now he has, you know, that it was broken into. Now, granted, they took it out of his house. Then they broke into it.
Right.
But
Oh,
Right.
Mark, real quick, I looked something up, so I want you to understand what I'm talking about. If you can prove, that someone bumped it to district court from small claims court,
Yeah.
you got to prove they did it just for that reason. Okay?
All right.
In district court, you can go after damages just for that. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay. So
But you have to prove it. So the rules change. So in other words, the argument is, if I sue you in small claims and you have it bumped up, the relaxed rules of small claims still go for district. That is not true whatsoever. They do not. It is the district court rules. But if you can prove that the only reason they kicked it up was a bogus counterclaim that was over $7,500, which is why it would get kicked up, then apparently you can go after damages and get that person in trouble, which is a little bizarre to me because you still end up in district court to do that.
with lawyer.
So I'm not quite, I guess I don't understand, like, what damages can you go after? Is it extra damages?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I've not researched that particular issue, but if you know, if you're asserting a counterclaim that has no
Validity at all.
validity, it's basically frivolous litigation, and you can recover for that.
So you can probably get attorney's fees, probably get other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like sort of vexatious, frivolous litigation, if there's no basis for the counterclaim, sure.
The one you're going to be helping with is Jessica. And she's got to file an answer. I'll explain it on.
and we're hoping you take Linda too, right? No?
Who's Linda?
The 26,000 Home Depot.
I don't know,
18,000.
man. He's, is he the one you said the phone number is no good anymore?
Right, that's what she had said. He doesn't, I haven't called him since then. He told me
Oh,
he's going to get me for harassment.
well, he was going to come down to the, he was going to come down here, right?
Yeah.
Did you get the, so she's got a case pending right now, correct?
Yeah, she did, what happened is she's, well, I'll go over it in a minute, but she sued in small claims court.
And it got kicked up the district.
And then he hired an attorney,
Yeah.
got it kicked up with a counterclaim that's just, you know, for $50,000.
Well, I should say before you go on the air and say I'm going to take the case, I mean, I'm going to need to sit down with her first.
Yeah, you're going to have to look at it.
Yeah, and listen to her and all that. Yeah, The other thing is, I don't know, we got to look into I think I sent the ethical rules regarding broadcasting. Did you take a look at that?
I did not.
All right, because that's important stuff.
After you take it, though.
Well, right.
Yeah.
After you get involved. So I can comment on the case like anyone, like there's no rules that apply. But if I get involved in the case...
well, you don't want to be called as a witness on your own case.
Well, there's that, but there's also, the rules are pretty specific. There's a specific rule on that, and you got to really be careful. Remember that dude from cross prosecution?
Yep.
Yeah.
I got him. So the prosecutor was disbarred for violating that rule.
What, because they were talking about it?
Talking about it on the air, yeah.
Yeah. Why can they talk about it sometimes? Well, that's a little different because that's criminal, right?
Well,
although they do all the time. They talked about OJ, shit, man, 24/7 for a year.
Yeah, and the thing is, if the rules are, there's a specific rule on it. There's a lot of ethical rules on it, and you just got to be careful. But with the OJ thing, if it's already out there, there's well, first of all, the specific rules deal with criminal cases, not other cases. But if the information is already out there, you're allowed to, like as the defense counsel, address it and rebut it.
Got it. But not bring up stuff that's...
Yeah, you can. You got to be careful about going out there initially. And there's specific things that are forbidden to comment on.
Well, I'm basically going to say you're going to sit down with her this week.
Yeah.
Or early next week, because she's got to get an answer filed.
Yeah.
And see what to take. But I got to tell you, man, I'm going to explain it on air, but I have never seen... This could be the worst work I've ever seen. I mean, by far. So it was an insurance claim. Luckily, at the very end, she got in touch with the insurance company, and his final payment of $10,000 never went to him, which is good.
Yeah.
But for the $4,400 that he took, I am telling you, he literally took siding off the back of the house where she wouldn't see it and repaired some of the damage on the side with siding from its own house.
Right.
The roof, if it rains, it just rains into the house. It's that bad.
So she sued him in small claims. He got a lawyer, kicked it up to district, and that's kind of procedurally where it's at.
And that is where it's at. And she needs to file an answer because he countersued for, do you remember the amount? It was ridiculous.
It was 3 different, I thought, claims that he did.
Yeah, I don't know
But
what they were.
he get kicked it up because it's over $7,500, and we think...
I think maybe the attorney... we got to get going. I thought maybe this attorney group might do stuff like this generally. In other words, this is...
Shooter Show.
Help, I need somebody.
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Welcome to the show. It is Wednesday. It feels like a Monday, thank God. This week's going to fly by. I hope I'm not the only one that's going to appreciate that, but I got to tell you what, we have got so much stuff going on. At the beginning of the show, I don't even know what to tell you. By the way, my name's Mark Major. Mr. Martino is out on assignment, code word, in Florida. Yeah, in Florida. So he's having a great time. I think, did he bring his kids out there, Suzanne?
I don't think so.
Well, he is out. He's having a good time. I promise the action never stops, though. Here's what we do here. If you're new to the show, it's simple. We solve your problems, we answer your questions, and we take your complaints. And more than that, you ready for this? My favorite part, which I do every single day, we get directly involved with you. We get involved with your problem. We try to help you out, and I got to tell you, we're going to talk about some of the stuff going on. We're going to talk about new stuff. But in studio with me, Mark Kranak, attorney at law. Welcome, Mark. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you.
And we also have Alyssa Christie. They're members of our referral list on referrallist.com with Christie's Design, Build, and Remodeling. And I think your dad's coming at some point.
Yep, Steve will be here.
So we'll see her dad as well. So we'll talk some construction. Anybody has issues there. And I got to say, I don't get complaints on you guys, but right now in construction, I get them all the time. It is unbelievable. It's almost impossible to find a subcontractor right now, isn't it?
It's crazy right now. The remodeling industry is just insane, and
it's booming.
There are just so many people out there, so many contractors, bad contractors, that are taking advantage of people that don't know what they need to get done, and coming in.
We have gotten so many complaints that I can't believe it. In fact, I'm going to try to enlist Mark's help on one of them today. Mark Kranak, attorney at law. But I got to tell you, Deputy Dan, it's been a crazy couple weeks. This morning, I talked to Mark. He paid this company, Colorado Window and Siding. This call came in, what, about 2 weeks ago?
Week and a half, yep.
I got the strangest feedback. Kill your mic for a minute. Yeah, it's that mic. We need to get engineering at some point I don't need it right now, but that mic sounds horrible when it's on. Anyhow, it's fine, but that was a couple weeks ago, correct, Deputy Dan?
Right.
Okay, now to catch everybody up on this guy, Mark pays Colorado Window and Siding Outlet roughly $18,500. Okay, this poor guy's got prostate cancer, by the way, so at this moment he can't fight for himself, so we're hoping. I reached out to these people this morning, left a message. We've left a couple. We had a deputy that we recently, what is it, deputized?
He's our Loveland
deputy. What the hell's the
now.
word? Deputized.
Deputized.
We deputized him. He went out there to check it out, said, oh, my God, it is one of the worst jobs we've ever seen. The siding looks like crap. There's nails sticking out of it. It's horrible. It's horrible. In fact, Deputy Dan, put the pictures up of that so people can reach out to it. And this is out, I believe, where
Loveland.
is this? In Loveland.
Yeah.
So Deputy JL went out there, took pictures. We're going to put them up on Facebook. The place looks, it just looks horrible. Now, when this guy first called in a couple weeks ago, this guy that works for Colorado Window and Siding Outlet, I think his name was Bennett. Bennett actually showed up out there. Bennett said, hey, we're going to order some new siding. We're going to get this done. Now we're 2 weeks later. We're not getting any calls back from him. I talked to Mark this morning. Mark hasn't heard from him. It's like these guys are just not there. I don't know what's going on. Suzanne.
So JL went and confronted the owners last Thursday and recorded it. He's going to give us an update here in about a half hour when he's available on the show.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So he actually talked to the folks out there.
Yeah, he went up to the storefront, yes.
Oh, I love good deputies. Anybody that wants to help us out with problems, sometimes when they get too far away, it's tough, especially if we just need pictures of something. But you can always email us at live@troubleshooter.com. Kind of give us your area, and we'd love to use you. Now, another one. We're going to wait about a half hour. We'll get back into this. But here's a guy, once again, listen. You know, he's got prostate cancer. He's fighting that right now. Gives these guys $18,500 at Colorado Window and Siding Outlet, and he's still waiting. That's the bottom line. He's still waiting, and it doesn't seem like anything's happening. I'm not hearing back from this company. In fact, why don't you try to reach out to him, Suzanne, when we have our deputy on as well. Now, the second one, Deputy Dan, this one about blew me away. Folks, you're not going to believe this one. You're not going to believe it. If you didn't see it for yourself like I did, and Deputy Dan did, you're not going to believe it. This contractor was so bad. Listen to this. Mark Kranek, attorney at law. Listen to this. It's outrageous. It is. It's crazy. It's crazy. This guy stole siding from the back of her house and put it on the front of her house. Think of that. And I looked at this guy like, what? There's no way. This, you know, sometimes we'll get callers. They're just crazy. I'll say it. They're crazy. And my BS detector will go off. Nah, there's no way. I saw it. He took siding off the back of the house under the eave and put it on the side where the hail damage came in at. It was unbelievable.
And he charged her for that, right?
And not only did he charge her for it, you ready? The roof that he did leaks. And when I say leaks, Deputy Dan, describe that roof for me.
Well, then he ran out. He was supposed to put all new decking on. He ran out of decking halfway through, and so the other half of the house does not have any decking on.
Yeah, no decking. So this roof, like, it's like shingles. That's it. I mean, basically, it's that horrible. And how many holes are in it? When it rains, it just comes right through.
Right. Any place there's a vent or anything going on up, there's no boot or flashing, it goes right through.
Yeah, and this is Jessica's the homeowner. It's actually a rental unit, and the guy we're talking about is Vincent Torres of I-25 Roofing and Restoration. Now, Mark, it gets even better. Just when you thought the worst thing that could happen is some schmuck takes the siding off the back of your house and repairs the hail damage on the side with it. Just when you thought that was worse. Or not having decking for most of the roof, okay? Just when you thought that. She was out of town on vacation in Mexico. While she was out of town and he was working on her house, you ready?
Yeah.
He hires some homeless people to do some of the work. He rents out her basement to the homeless guy.
No way.
And I met the homeless guy. He acknowledges he rented it. He acknowledged he moved the siding like he was told to do. He acknowledged the roof looks like crap. He actually worked for the guy and rented out her basement. You can't make it up. How do you make something like that up?
Truth is stranger than fiction. That's crazy.
I think it should be an after-school special, but it's absolutely driving me crazy. I want to go through that. This is the one. It gets even worse. You ready for what happened, Mark? This is the part that drives me nuts. She sued him in small claims court. In fact, her court date was supposed to be last week, like last Monday or Tuesday. Dan and I think went out Monday, so I think it was Tuesday. He hires an attorney. The attorney countersues. I can't even imagine what they're countersuing for. He got $2,400 from her for her deductible, and then the insurance company paid him $2,000. And I have no idea even what the countersuit is. I'm going to let you look at it, but it went over $7,500. So what does that do? It kicks it up to district court. So now she needs an attorney to file the answer, and that's why I'm going to have you look at that paperwork. But it's just absurd. I don't even know why he's countersuing. We'll look at it, but I can't imagine. The job is so bad, it's not even like... I can't explain it if you don't see it, Mark. It's that horrible. But you know the problem with these cases. You'll beat the heck out of him in court, and then what's going to happen? He's got no money.
Well, that's a perennial problem. I mean, you're always going to start, I think, at the end is, judgment's a piece of paper. You always need to think about, okay, if I've got the billion-dollar judgment, is there anything there?
It'd be nice to force this guy into bankruptcy, in my opinion, though, because I got to tell you, this Vincent Torres, I-25 Roofing and Restoration, renting the place out, horrible job, you can't beat it. In fact, Dan put his signs up, so if you see this phone number show up, folks, just run. 720-481-1769. Vincent Torres, I-25 Roofing and Restoration. Once again, 720-481-1769. Stay away from him. I mean, this is a real bad guy, in my opinion. A very bad contractor, in my opinion, and honestly, just not a good guy. I've never heard of anything like this. He won't comment. In fact, isn't he the guy that said, oh, boy, I hear you guys talking again. I'm going to come down to that station.
No, that's a different guy. But this guy also doesn't have a license to practice in Denver or to do contracting work in Denver.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Mark. Here's a guy that shouldn't even be doing it. The contract, when I show you the contract he has with her, the contract was well enough done. I think he stole it from another roofing company because it says he'll pull the necessary permits. It says he'll do everything. It shows the scope of work. It's got a 3-day right to rescind. It's got everything it's supposed to. But I got to tell you, he did nothing on there. He broke his own contract simply by working in Denver. He's not supposed to be working in Denver. And he's got the cojones to countersue her, to bump it up to make her get an attorney.
Yeah, well, one good aspect of this, in a strange way, is he does have the money to hire an attorney. So, I mean, that shows...
Yeah, unless if they're in cahoots, this is a rental house. He might be thinking, okay, she owns a rental house. Maybe I'll get a default judgment because she doesn't answer this, and I'll go after her assets.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I'm totally guessing right there. And then Eric Laxon. Here's another guy 2 weeks ago. This guy, $44,000. He was buying stuff on her Home Depot card. Now, she gave him permission, but then he'd return it and get the credit. So we've got those. We've got Richmond Homes warranty issue. I swear to God, Suzanne, is this a new one up here?
It sure is,
Mark. This is another one.
Yeah,
Last week, what is going on with Richmond? We never hear anything about them. Then in the past 3 or 4 weeks, it's like Richmond, Richmond, Richmond. Greg, you hold on. We're going to find out what's going on with your warranty issue. That seems to be the deal, is people move in, they do the walkthrough. In fact, I'm going to talk to Drew a little bit when we come back, because Drew just did a walkthrough on his house, and I want to see how that went. Everybody hang tight. I promise, Greg, Travis, and whoever else is holding, I will get to you. I had to vent. We're going to go over everything here, and we're going to dig into it. We're going to solve your problems, answer your questions, take your complaints, and damn it, we're going to get directly involved. That's what he did. He bumped it up, hoping to shake her.
Yep. That sounds like BS. I mean, to rip all that stuff off and put homeless people in there. So he's got the money to hire an attorney. I wonder if he has an insurance policy. I just reviewed a case.
Well, he's not supposed to be working in Denver. He doesn't have a license to work in Denver.
Even if he had an insurance policy, they would have to exclude it from this because...
Probably.
Oh, my God. The guy, he's not supposed to be working there, but... to grab stuff off her house and put it in a different spot.
Yeah, it's gonna be torturous. But they wonder if certain claims could be tweaked to where the policy would be triggered. But look, he's got an attorney. That's good. He's got money to pay the lawyer. I mean, he must have some assets. So that's at least good, But that sounds crazy.
But
we think
we met the one guy that lived in the
guy's his girlfriend, and she had given him permission to put his tools in the basement.
Yeah.
And this homeless guy, his last name was Tools. No,
That's crazy.
That's the worst joke.
No, but him and his girlfriend from Texas. I think they were from Texas, right, Mark?
I think so, yeah.
They come up here and they fell on hard times and stuff.
It's just amazing.
We didn't go down the basement. This upstore.
I would go down there, man.
Yes, it was a shack.
This whole house sucks.
They've
got it totally gutted right now. Oh, the other thing they did, I forgot about that. They stole all the copper wire and ripped stuff out of the walls and everything.
They took pictures of the sink and stuff.
I've got pictures of literally where a chandelier was. It's now gone, or a light fixture.
That is crazy.
Oh, this was really, when we went out there, we thought they were kind of making up.
I was like, this will be one that's overboard, and it wasn't. It was everything.
It was underboard. It was underboard.
Oh, wow.
It was worse than what
I've
she
been
had.
It was waterboard.
This guy, and I'm like, gosh, how do these people not go to jail?
Absolutely. Well, he's only been in business 5 times, so we were supposed to get a what happened to him before and stuff. This might be what he does. Starts a business, something happens.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. That happens all the time.
And then he had to sign 2 blocks over with his I-25 sign to do the roofing. So he's no license in Denver, but yet he's doing,
He's an amazing human being.
It's a contracting model for him.
He's a snake in the grass, man.
Absolutely.
I don't know how these guys do that.
We had, in Colorado Springs, when they had that $2 billion hailstorm, almost a year ago, everybody and their mother was coming out doing siding. All these roofers were hiring these subs because these claims were, every aspect of the house was hit.
Yeah.
So instead of just getting the roof, they wanted to make a little more money with siding. What they didn't realize is, you don't just wake up one day and go, hey, I'm going to be a siding contractor. So a lot of them got screwed by these subs they were hiring and ended up, doing the job 2 or 3 times and losing money on it because they were trying to make an extra penny off the bat.
Yeah, just the morality of this that you wouldn't think. I mean,
how
do they go to bed at night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Once people get money too, I mean, there's that saying, possession is 9/10 of law. I mean, that's true, especially when you're not dealing with a huge amount of money. Because if they have 15, 20 grand, 10 grand, whatever, then you're in a position of doing what? I mean, sitting there and trying to negotiate a settlement, and you're going to have to sue them. And then, like, this woman is in a situation now. She's sued. Now they got a lawyer, so she's basically going to have to get a lawyer, which is a Damocles sword that hangs over both sides, frankly.
It'll be curious if you can prove, on the other hand, though, that they bumped it up for that reason. You got to look up that statute.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it, and they're going to have to look. There's going to be some basis for the counterclaim, but you're going to definitely want to look into that. I mean, I can't imagine, based upon what I'm hearing here, that there's a legit counterclaim. Here's what I'm guessing they're going to say: that she breached the contract by not complying with payment terms or telling him to stop before the thing was completed. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I understand, but it's by seeing the work that he did.
Right.
And then the best witness for the entire case is that homeless guy he had doing the work, because he's working for her now. I mean, she's a glutton for punishment.
We're talking about all these bad contractors. I got to tell you about a great one, Genesis Total Exteriors. Mark Szymanski is the owner. I just don't get complaints on these guys. They're great. They do everything, too. Siding, windows, gutters, painting, fences, decks. And then on the inside, they'll do kitchen remodels and bathrooms and basements. He'll do a pop-up downtown. This guy does improvements of all kinds, large repairs. Give Mark a call if you want to get a bid. Of course, he'll come out and give you a very competitive bid. They're on a referral list at referrallist.com. Genesis Total Exteriors, 303-679-8509, 303-679-8509. And let's get right to the phones. I'll tell you when someone drops off, but I got to tell you, I'm a little flustered with a lot of these going on. It gets hard when you can't, things can't happen quick enough. Being an attorney, Mark, it must be very tough, too, because I can't imagine if you were arrested. Let's say you were falsely arrested for something, and you can't make bail, and you're sitting there during the trial. That's got to be a horrible feeling. It seems like a lot of things don't move quick enough. You know, this lady, like I said, she took this guy to small claims court. She did everything right. He kicks it up to county court, and now he's just kicking the can down the road. Ultimately, I know he's going to get in trouble for what he did. There's no doubt about it. We'll probably get a judgment. We'll probably do a lot of things. But it takes so long. Can be very frustrating, man.
Well, the laws of the wheels of justice turn slowly. There's no doubt about that. But they do turn. And, you know, I'll tell you one thing, Colorado courts are pretty efficient.
Compared to other states?
Other places in the country, yeah. I mean, it'll cook along. You get a trial date, either in small claims court or district court, typically right out of the gate.
Yeah, small claims court in El Paso, so Colorado Springs, they're like sometimes less than 3 weeks out. Denver's a little rough. You know, they could be still within 60 days, which is, I guess that's acceptable, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not small-town Kansas here.
Yeah, sure. But, you know, people do have to be patient. But, you know, on the other, setting aside how quickly or slowly the legal system is, you know, people's communication is really important, too. And in terms of, you know, it seems like a lot of these contractors come in, they take the job, and people wind up getting frustrated with the pace of the thing. And then there's a breakdown in the lack of communication.
Oh, every time.
You know, every time, and then I think that creates I know it creates a lot of problems in the law. Like but it's frustrating. I've had hired.
Yeah, and you wait and you wait and you wait.
Sure.
And we're going to ask, speaking of contractors in studio with us from our referral list, Alyssa and Steve with Christie's Design and Build. We're going to ask them how they get around some of these issues, hiring bad subs, other stuff like that. Meantime, Greg, what's going on with Richmond Homes with you? Greg?
Oh, hey. How's it going?
Good, man. What's going on with Richmond?
What's going on with Richmond? Bought a house. You know, did the walkthrough. Everything was fine. But what the problem was the drainage on the property. So when it would rain or other people would turn their sprinklers on or it would snow, the water would all drain between my house and the neighbor's house. And since it was slanted across my house, you know, where they had their sewage and gutter systems were.
Yeah.
The water would pool. It would pool there, and then what it would do is it would eventually leak under the driveway.
When did you buy the house?
Oh, it was about 2013. So as I told
my Lord,
cleaner there, so it would leak under the driveway, and it got to the point where me and my wife would actually walk on the driveway and kind of bounce up and down, and the whole thing would move.
Yeah.
So I told them about it. And they
did you tell them within the first year?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
They actually did some stuff which is funny, but it created this crack all across the driveway. It's a 3-car garage, so it went all the way across. And what's worse is in the wintertime is when it would do this. What would happen is the water would also kind of pool across the sidewalk.
Greg, hold on. Greg, hold on. I've got some basic questions. When in 2013 did you guys move in and do your walkthrough?
December.
So in December of 13, you did not find this out because you hadn't been living there long enough to see it pool, correct?
Correct.
So when did you first see it?
That winter, when it would start pooling.
So 2000, well, you mean, so within a few months?
January, February.
Okay.
14.
So did they come out within a few months of that walkthrough and look at it, acknowledge the problem?
They were hard. It was hard to get them to come out.
Did they come out, though?
Yes, they eventually came out.
And they acknowledged there was an issue?
Yes.
Okay, listen, there's a method to my madness. Now, after they acknowledged there was an issue, you said they did do some work. What was that work? More grading?
Put a drain in. They put a drain in.
Okay, so like a French drain, a sump pump? What do you mean?
Well, across the sidewalk. It would pool between the sidewalk, you know, where the sidewalk is in my house. It would pool there, and it would kind of go onto the driveway.
Okay.
So they ripped up the sidewalk in front of the house and the part of the thing, and they put a little street drain, like a gutter drain, so that it would alleviate that water from pooling under there anymore.
You would seem that would work. Did it work at all?
Oh, that worked fine. That worked fine. But there's no more issue. But the problem is...
Okay, meantime, all that water created these voids under your driveway, and it ended up being cracked.
Yes. And that's what they...
Now, when did it crack?
It cracked... It started within a couple months of us moving in. And I noticed it. And I told them about it. And I was like, it's getting bigger. And then they were telling me, we won't do anything until it... or, you know, they're talking about, like, concrete, They don't really do.
How does this go on? I mean, honest to God, Greg, how does this go on 3 or 4 years and you didn't get it handled? That's the part I'm not understanding.
I had
Now we're supposed to reach out to these guys and say, hey, you know, in 2013, are you telling me, do you have anything in writing whatsoever saying they're going to fix this crack?
No. They would never do it. And they basically told me, you know, if you want it done, you know, you got to take us to mediation. Because apparently we signed that thing in the closing document.
Well, did you take them to mediation?
No, I didn't take them to mediation.
And you're probably outside the scope of being able to do that now.
Yeah, probably.
Well, you know what? I don't know what to tell you in this one. I don't know what to tell you. The other 2 calls we have on Richmond, they actually have stuff in writing saying stuff's supposed to be done, and it's not. You have nothing in writing. It's 4 years old. I'll tell you what I've learned from this conversation is Richmond, you know, when it comes to warranty issues, according to everything I have heard, they're not very good at them.
Oh, they suck at it.
Yeah, and would you buy another Richmond home?
No.
See, that's what drives me crazy. This is a big purchase. Steve with Christie's. You know, a house now is $400,000 plus. I mean, Denver Metro. There's nothing cheap. And I mean, even a small one is crazy. I can't imagine why you wouldn't handle a little warranty issue like that. We bought our first house, Suzanne, was U.S. Homes. We had no problems with it. What did we buy when we had kids and needed a bigger house?
Yeah, a U.S. home, another
U.S.
Lennar home.
They handled everything we wanted. I mean, I don't know what Richmond's thinking. Can they just not keep up? I mean, I just can't imagine it. How do you guys handle warranty work, Steve?
You call in and we get someone out there as soon as we can.
As soon as you can and get it done.
Get it fixed.
Because then next time they need something, you do it. I mean, they're going to call you again.
Absolutely.
It drives me absolutely crazy. Greg, I'm just going to have to leave it at that. Suzanne, there's nothing we're going to do on that. One thing I'm getting sick of on this show, I do it, Tom does it, we don't mean to do it, but here's the problem. Sometimes we dive into something there's not a damn thing we're going to do. I just spilled water on myself.
Oh.
I laugh at Tom.
Can I call you Tom?
I laugh at him every single day when he does it.
I can't wait to tell him.
Friday I spilled water on myself. Today I spilled water on myself. I have no idea what... I can't make fun of him anymore. I bought him a sippy cup and I was going to give it to him next week. Look at that.
Maybe you should keep it for yourself.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Dan, do I not make fun of him almost every single day?
Yes, you do.
And look, I did it Friday, now I do it today. Travis, this sounds like a horrible problem. What's going on?
Hello?
Yeah, Travis, what's going on?
Hi. I had a gun safe stolen out of my home.
Oh, when?
Happened in 2012. I know it's been a long time, but there's a recent development.
All right, hold on. Let me put you on hold. I promise I'll come right back to you, and then Joe will talk about that medical bill. 303-713-8255. That is the phone number, 303-MARTINO. And I got to tell you about Mark Trenner, Trenner Law. If you need a trademark, if you want to do a search to see if your invention has already been done, don't use one of these 800 numbers you see late at night. Call the actual attorney. Those ones on TV are just lead generators. You want to call the actual attorney. This guy has a unique approach. He'll actually save you money. He can do a patent search and let you know, I mean, for a very reasonable fee. He can do a patent search and let you know if you're wasting your time. He's got new low flat rates, no hidden costs. If you need a trademark, if you want to do a patent search, need a patent, I want you to call Mark Trenner, 720-221-3708, 720-221-3708. I cannot believe I spilled water. I cannot believe it.
Looks like you both need to be husbands.
I cannot believe it.
His and his.
If it was just the first time, I'd be like, okay, but it's not.
Good thing you don't drink Coke.
Oh, my God.
Or Pepsi.
Yeah, at least I spill water, right?
I can't eat a meal without sloppy something.
I know. That's how I am, too.
And then she takes after her mom.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm always moving things out of the way.
Talk with my hands and
Hey, Mark,
food
you want
on
to
the
look,
court.
this is your banner. Just let you know, does that look okay? The right number and everything? That's good.
Oh, yeah. No, that looks good. Yeah.
Okay. And Alyssa, this is yours. I just want to make sure we got everything right.
Now, I'm looking forward to consulting with her about that.
Yeah, so when you talk and stuff, you know,
get the
your
ball
dad talking,
rolling on
but
it.
that's the camera. That's not your dad.
It's just nuts.
I have a feeling as soon as he answers the phone, I don't think he's got money for
he'd be crazy to pay an attorney money to fight this. I mean, he'd be absolutely insane.
You probably pay him $500 to write the letter or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
yeah, but now you're talking. He hired someone to kick it up a notch.
Right. Yeah.
So these people, can they just write a letter and request
no,
it?
you can't. Once you're in the case,
you're in it.
You're in it. You can get out, but it's not that easy. You got to get a court order to get out.
Oh.
You got to ask for permission.
Yeah, basically.
Even if they're not paying you, you still got to ask for permission.
Well, that's one of the ways you can pull out.
But you still got to ask.
But you still have to ask. It's not like you file a paper and say, I'm out. When I first started practicing in Atlanta years ago, they wouldn't pay you to file something with the court, so we're done. But now, out here, you have to file a motion, present an argument to the court, get the judge to. So you can get out, but it's not that easy.
Okay, so how much would they have to pay in retainer for getting them a lawyer, or they just give them, like, say, a few $100 to write the letter?
It's kind of a thing to think about, too, because I guess if you're that guy, and so you get sued in small claims court, you're going to go to the lawyer. I'm guessing he's got a lawyer on speed dial, and I don't know. I mean, I would, most lawyers in something like that, you're going to get paid by the hour, so you're going to want to get a retainer fee upfront sufficient to compensate. Yeah. So the stakes go up a little bit. Now she's in this position where she's got to get a lawyer. And,
right.
You know,
and he's hoping she blinks.
Yeah, kind of.
Because you know she doesn't have money. She doesn't have money.
It seems like you always run into a situation with that dynamic if you're dealing with...
He might add one of those prepaid things.
You could.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You think this law firm would take those? Normally those law firms that take those are ones that don't have a lot of work, but this is a downtown law firm.
Ooh.
Well,
high rent district.
Right.
Maybe he could rent out her basement.
Seriously, if you went and watched, it wasn't even a step above a shack. It was a shack.
Wow, it's horrible.
Stole the pictures out, stole the sink out.
That's outrageous.
It's outrageous?
It's multiple. It's outrageous.
You're like Jackie Childs.
Yeah.
Say it, Mark. How's it going?
I can't think of what it says.
That's how it starts.
It's outrageous. It's perpetual. It's passionate. It's absurd. It's outrageous. Oh, I forgot to announce we had our official Seinfeld trivia, the only game that ever counts past, future, tense, and I won. I beat Deputy Dan, like by a shitload.
Well played, Major. Well played.
Yeah. That'll stick with you, won't it?
Yes, it will.
It is sad when you're a kid and you really think that way.
Are you guys Seinfeld fans? You guys watch?
What's that?
You Seinfeld fans? You ever watch?
I watch them once in a while.
I've seen most of them. My favorite is the boy in the bubble.
Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy.
What did his dad haul for a living?
I don't remember. I don't know. That's good. That's a big trivia question.
Right, that's all.
Actually, that's a pretty easy one.
The Bubble
You
Boy.
got it right away.
Everyone's like, "Oh, little Bubble Boy, let's go." He turns out to be like the biggest dick in the world.
Oh, really?
Screaming and yelling, throwing stuff at people.
So you like living in a bubble? No, it's more like a igloo.
George winds up trying to kill him at the end.
What was the question?
What was the Trivial Pursuit question?
Ah, jeez, I don't know.
The answer was the Moors, but he kept saying the
Oh,
Moors. All right, folks, 303-713-8255. I've got an exciting announcement.
I promise, Travis, I'm going to get right back to you, but I got to brag real quick. Over the weekend, Deputy Dan came over to our house, and I got to say, for you Seinfeld people out there, I beat him in trivia. I killed him. I destroyed him. He did agree on every front that this was the only game that counted, past, present, future, everything else. It's done. It's over. I am better than him.
All I can say is, well played, Major. Well played.
You got it. All right, Travis. In 2012, someone breaks into your house, doesn't just steal a gun, but the entire safe. Hey, by the way, how big is this safe?
Yeah, it's about 700 pounds. It's the Champion Triumph series.
How did he get it out? What did they bring in? Just a dolly?
I don't know how they got it out. I do know there were 6 guys. My grandpa actually walked in the home while the guys were in there.
Oh, my goodness. That sounds just terrifying. So where are we at now, 5 years later?
So I contacted him back at the time, and I said, hey, will you guys warranty the safe? And he says, well, we only warranty break-ins. I said, okay.
It's like a cell phone. They only warranty it if it breaks, not if you lose it.
No, break-ins, unlawful break-in. So, yes, this weekend I was contacted by the police department. They had recovered one of the firearms that was in the safe. So I contacted Champion Safe on Facebook. I also left them a message. They replied to me on Facebook, and I said, one of the firearms was located. Is that sufficient proof of a break-in? And they messaged me back and said, sorry, we only cover break-ins or fire and break-ins. In my estimation, I have more than enough proof that my safe was broken into. I feel that they should...
well, I'm missing it. How come they... I guess I am missing it then. Why do they think it wasn't a break-in? Did you guys not call the police in 2012?
Oh, no. This was very well documented. And
So why are they saying... But Travis, help me out. Why are they saying it's not a break-in? Help me think like they are right now.
Because the entire safe was stolen out of the home. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, but that goes back to what I was saying about a cell phone. You're saying their warranty is different. When you said break-in to me, the first way I took it, and I've never talked to them, I've never read their warranty, I don't know. But when you explained it to me, I was under the assumption on most of these safes, like literally if someone can break into the safe, it would be covered. Not if someone steals the entire safe.
Right, correct.
Your argument is one of the guns was found, therefore they had to have broken into the safe in order to get the gun out.
Absolutely, and their warranty states lifetime unlawful break-in.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
And my question is, what exactly are they supposed to warranty? Get you a new safe, cover the amount of the belongings inside?
What is it? What do they cover, Travis?
Right, I'm assuming just the safe. I don't know that they cover the belongings, and quite frankly, I'm not looking for the belongings to be covered.
Mark, he brings up a very interesting question. You're going to say what every attorney I ask, you're going to say, I can already tell you're going to say, well, it depends. Beyond it depends, which is your typical legal answer. If he is correct and the warranty says a break-in, okay, in other words, someone breaks into the safe, he does have a hell of a... See, but maybe they need the remnants of the safe, which he doesn't have.
Yeah, slap a lawsuit on them. Look, they broke into the safe.
Yeah.
They got the safe. They got a gun out of it. That means they broke into the safe.
There's proof they have the gun because that's all documented now with the police, right, Travis?
That is correct. Police report.
He's got a hell of a good story here. How would you not? And this is, how much is that safe? How much money?
So it's a Champion Triumph. At the time that I purchased it back in 2000, it was, I believe, $1,200, like $1,250.
And he says it's a lifetime. I do that. Why not just take him to small claims court?
Yeah, I mean, does read the warranty? It's going to be a breach of contract case, but it seems to me it would be highly unlikely that there would be a provision in there that said, you have to break into the safe while it's in the house or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be bizarre. Yeah, how would they cover every little thing like that? Boy, that's nuts, Travis. You know what we can do? This would be perfect for Deputy Daphne, actually. Is she back Monday?
She's back in a few days. If he gets me the info, we'll put her on it.
My God, she bird dogs people. I mean, I have never seen anything like Daphne. There's certain cases that are perfect. Is this a big gun safe manufacturer, Travis?
Oh, yeah, it's Champion Safe.
I just don't have a gun safe, nor have I shopped for one, so I mean, I have no idea. But there are a lot of people have heard of them.
Yes. Yeah,
let's do that. Let's have Daphne. We're going to have Daphne reach out to the media department. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets something done. And if not, we can walk you through. I mean, all you really need to do here is small claims. They would have no reason for a countersuit that I could think of. I mean, no reason at all.
No, and it's one of those things where, I feel like I'm 100% right.
Travis, I'm with you, man. You bring up it took me a minute to come around to you, but you bring up a great argument. It is evident if they found one of the guns, someone broke into that safe.
Sounds like.
Their only argument could be is this guy, was colluding or something, but that seems
Yeah,
crazy.
There's a doctrine in law called res ipsa loquitur, means the thing speaks for itself. So, like, if you went to the hospital and you were going in to have your leg
amputated,
operated on,
yeah.
and when you woke up from anesthesia, you had a broken shoulder.
Yeah.
But there's medical records don't mention anything. You're like, well, something must have happened.
Yeah.
I must have fallen off the gurney. I can't prove it because no one saw it.
But something happened.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody broke into the safe, right? They had to.
Yeah.
Now, on their website, it says lock warranty, mechanical 5 years, electronic 2 years.
But we're talking the break-in part.
I know. I'm just wondering.
Where is that, Travis? Where do you see that actual warranty? In fact, hold on a second.
I'm seeing it on their website.
I know you are. Get a copy of what he's looking at. Maybe he has it from his original purchase. I mean, even if they changed it, if you buy something with a lifetime warranty, Mark, well, it depends, because in that warranty, they might state that they can change their warranty at any given time. But if they don't do that, and you buy something with a certain warranty, I mean, that should extend even if they change it on a newer product.
Yeah, I would think that it's a contract issue. They're going to have to honor the contract. Yeah, state the obvious, too. I mean, if you have homeowners or renters insurance, file a claim, too. But
yeah,
I don't know if that's going to cover it.
I wonder why you didn't. Hey, Travis, why didn't you file a claim and get paid by the insurance company, or did you?
My father owned the home.
Okay.
It was a second home, and the insurance refused to cover it, saying that I should have had a renter's policy.
Okay, I understand, and you probably should have. All right, so get his information. Mark that as a follow-up. We'll keep moving on. 303-713-8255. Clear Choice Garage Doors. These are the guys, $299. They'll show up at your house. They're going to install a brand-new LiftMaster 8550. That's the one with the MyQ technology. It's got the battery backup, the time-to-close feature. You can purchase the internet gateway for it. $299 installed, and it also runs off of a belt, not this crazy chain. The biggest difference I notice is how much quicker it is from my old one and how much quieter. Give them a call right now. $299 includes labor, includes everything. Call them, get it installed. 303-565-6409, or check them out on referrallist.com or oneclearchoicedoors.com.
This report is brought to you by American Financing.
The other thing, I wonder if that safe was bolted down. They're supposed to bolt them down. From the inside, the bolts go down from the inside.
He's got a hell of an argument, though. If the weird part is Suzanne's not reading that warranty anywhere. But that could be defects.
Right.
That could be the defective part of the warranty, not the no one will steal anything out of it warranty.
Right.
And then also this was, back in 2000, so between now...
2012.
It's 2012, I think it's 2000.
No, statute of limitations isn't up.
They could have still changed up their warranty between now and then, too.
I'd sue them. I'd sue them in small claims court. What are they going to do?
Hey, I think you could prove you've got the police report.
Not only that, it's going to cost them. These companies, they always send an attorney. Even if it's just small claims, they send an attorney. Everyone. I've seen Allstate do it, Farmers. In fact, almost any decent-sized company will always send an attorney.
They do.
But they got to think, though. If it's $7,500, that's one thing. But if the claim is all he wants is a safe that costs him $500 to build, they might just give him the safe.
They might do it, yeah. They might. Most of them settle, And down at Denver, they'll send you out to mediation, typically, And
don't you have to talk to the magistrate first?
yeah, they're all, go in there, you chat with them a little bit, but they normally will.
You're welcome.
Troubleshooter, oh, hold on, please. Yeah, it's nuts.
Go bed.
I wonder if Champion isn't one of the bigger safe companies.
I never heard of them. I always think of Wells Fargo, but I think people just license that name now. I don't think they build shit. They own banks, but...
I had a safe, and I had my passport in there, before I was going down to Costa Rica, and the safe wouldn't open. It did that thing where it was missing it, and it wouldn't, so it was busted. So I took it to a safe guy on Colfax.
Safe cracker.
Unbelievably simple, though. Crack that safe open. It took him like
a sledgehammer, or he literally dialed it in?
He had two tools, like basically a crowbar, and then what's basically, like a chisel and a hammer. Bang, 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 like less than a minute, literally. Cut the sucker open, yeah. It was worthless. Whoa. He'd been through it before, though. He was very professional with it, Oh, I know what to do. Bring it.
I used to do this for a living.
Yeah.
I used to be on the other side.
Speaking of stuff getting stolen, I talked to the bank today. They're going to have me come in. They want to review videos of the person that I had somebody do fraud on me. They broke into my car, took my purse and wallet, and went to my bank with my ID and deposited checks. Those checks bounced. They pulled out money.
Jesus.
So, yeah. So I had to deal with that after.
They should handle all that, though.
Yeah, but they're like, we got to compare signatures.
They'll never admit fraud. Banks are absolutely the worst. We had one, they stole, well, we don't even know how they got the account number.
I litigated one of those cases. They all have, the big banks, I think these days, they have arbitration provisions in there. And they're buried in those agreements. You don't know about it. When you sue them, they're going to kick it right out to arbitration.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a case where they looted, like, they had accounts and it was fraudulent. Like, somebody got powers of attorney that were fraudulent and went and, like, looted, like, it was a lot of money. Like,
Holy
3
shit.
accounts.
Did you win?
Drained them. Yeah, we did well, and the client was pleased with it. But
so the bank is ultimately the one that paid.
Yeah, I mean, if you gotta, it's complicated because from the bank's perspective, they're like, well, it looked legitimate to me. I mean, the guy walked in here, he had ID, he had all the papers in order, and what are we supposed to do? So that was
They gave her a new account. They only changed the account by 1 number.
Right. So they only changed it to, like, so that people could still pull, I can get all of my auto withdrawals still taken out and not have to worry about it, but they just basically changed the last 3 numbers, one of the numbers, and so the first
And I'm thinking what they did is they took the checks in their deposit to get that
account information.
Yeah.
It says here, secure safe will repair or replace at our option any safe broken into by forced entry or damaged by unlawful break-in attempt or damage in the fire. So I'll bet you they need the safe.
All right, folks, 303-713-8255. One line open, 303 Martino. Suzanne, go ahead. You have a comment on the gun?
Well, yeah, so Bob with Mr. Green Jeans just called and said they're not going to be able to prove that the safe was ever locked, and that makes sense. The guy won't be able to prove that it was actually locked and broken into.
This guy, there's got to be common sense somewhere, though. I mean, 6 people break into his house. The cops are called. The safe was stolen. We know the safe was stolen. Okay? If this guy's not lying, I mean, I'm taking him for his word. So the safe is stolen from his dad's house, and then years go by. They get a call from the cops. That gun has been recovered. At the time the safe was stolen, I'm sure they had the serial number or something, and basically said, hey, this gun was in the safe. It was stolen. They find the gun years later. Whether it was used in a crime or how they found it, I have no idea. But I don't see the argument. What is Mr. Green Jeans trying to say? The guy's lying?
That you can't prove that the safe was broken into.
God, okay.
You just simply can't prove it.
And I love Mr. Green Jeans, but then why would they steal the safe? If it was open, why are they moving a 700 or 800-pound safe?
Mark, he's just saying that's what the safe company is going to say.
Okay,
that's all.
But any judge in their right mind. I mean, okay, is there common sense in law, Mark Raynack? I mean, honestly, anything's an argument. I can come up with an argument in front of a judge, but to argue that the safe was open seems like a stretch, considering that 6 people had to pick it up and steal it.
Yeah, and he could testify, the plaintiff,
that it was locked.
That it was locked. He could say, when it was stolen, I saw the safe, that day or whatever, and I know it was locked because I saw that it was locked. So that's evidence tending to prove that it was locked. Also, you have to look at the police reports. Maybe if they said that a fragment of the safe was recovered, that would maybe the police reports will get you to the point that the safe was busted.
That safe's sitting in a lake somewhere.
Yeah.
Who knows where that thing's at? They probably busted it open in the back of a pickup, emptied it, and then dumped it.
There's no telling what those guns were used for.
Have you seen these ones where they'll pull into a convenience store, they'll wrap like a band or a chain around an ATM, and drag that sucker right out, man?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
I can't believe it. I mean, man, you've got to think there's a lot of stuff in a 700-800-pound safe in order to, have 6 people break in and steal it, which is a little odd. How many times you do some criminal law, you do a lot of stuff, how many times is there 6 people involved in one crime? Isn't that a little bizarre?
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be a lot of money. I wonder how much money is in one of those things at one time. I don't know. I mean, it happens like regularly, so you think like the word on the street must be, yeah, you know, if you can get one of these things.
All right, Joe's got a comment on Vincent Torres. Vincent Torres is a contractor that is just, in my opinion, just a really bad guy. What's your comment, Joe?
Mark, interesting, he filed a motion, a countersuit, but if he's not licensed in the County of Denver,
I know,
then he has no legal standing to file that suit. And if he has no legal standing to file the suit, not only can you file a motion to get it dismissed, you can file a motion for attorney's fees for filing frivolous lawsuits.
Well, it's not just frivolous. There's also something that states if you move something from small claims to district court. Now, I used to think, I've heard Tom say it, but it's not correct. It might have been correct at one point that you would still get the relaxed rules because the other party kicked it up. That's not true. It is district court rules. But if you can prove that there's no validity to the counterclaim and prove, and this is where it gets weird, how do you prove it? But prove the only intent with the counterclaim was to get it moved out of small claims court, then once again you can go after attorney's fees and everything else. But how do you prove something like that? I mean, can't they just say, well, you know, I didn't realize I needed this or that? It seems to me that almost it is very hard to get attorney's fees is where I'm going.
No, but he has no standing. The suit, it doesn't matter because he has no legal standing to file the suit because he's not licensed to do business in the county.
Yeah, that's true. But he might say, hey, I hired some, even though they were homeless people that were living there, he might say, hey, you're absolutely right. And Denver's pretty badass about it. One thing Denver does do, if you're not supposed to be working there, they don't want you working there.
Right. So again, if he doesn't have if he wasn't licensed, he has no legal standing, and if he has no legal standing, the suit should be dismissed with prejudice, and she ought to get court costs.
You know what I'm going to do? We're of course assuming this guy's got a nickel, but like you said, Mark, he hired an attorney. You know what we'll do? I've got pictures of her paperwork on my phone I took when we were out there. Let's see if you can't find what the counterclaim is, all right? Hey, thanks, Joe. Have a good day, man. 303-713-8255. One line open. Is this Deputy JL?
It sure is, up in Loveland.
So this guy went up to check out Mark's house. Mark paid Colorado Window and Siding Outlet $18,500 for windows and siding. We called out for someone to go up and look at it because he's so far away. And JL went up there and checked it out. He called in a couple weeks ago. Hey, JL, when you first called in, you sent us pictures. The job was horrible. I mean, the siding is really bad, right?
It was really bad.
So you went after the fact. When you went out there, there was actually a guy from Colorado Window and Siding Outlet there, and according to Mark, his name was Bennett. So you saw one of their employees, right?
No, he was gone by the time I got to Mark's house.
Got it. See, that guy was supposed to be out with new siding and everything else, so nothing happened for a good 10 days. No communication, nothing. You went down there last Thursday, and you confronted them in their showroom. I heard a little bit of the audio, but give me an idea of what did you take from it? Are they going to fix it? Do they know what they're doing? It's kind of weird. The owner wasn't there, right?
Right. The owner nor his wife were there. Their office manager was there, so I did get to speak with her.
So the owner, by the way, is Jeff Alexander.
Right.
And Jeff wasn't there. And I heard you talking, isn't it like the brother-in-law and the sister-in-law? It's one big family affair down there at Colorado Window and Siding Outlet.
It appears to be. I spoke with the brother-in-law, who's evidently a sales rep.
Yeah.
And his wife is the office manager.
I'd like to give these guys somewhat of a benefit of the doubt, but, I mean, how long do you wait? What is your gut feeling on it? Did it sound like they were going to do? What is it like down there? What was your gut?
It appears to be a stand-up business.
Okay.
I mean, it's a retail outlet, and they do have a lot of samples and what have you in there. So,
is there someone generally there? If I drove down there, I mean, when I talked to Mark, the caller, he was acting like they're never there. I mean, do you get the impression that someone's generally there during normal hours?
I have that impression. I've never been in there before either. This was the first time. But
yeah.
From the appearance of the place, I would assume that there would be somebody there all the time. Now, they did have work orders, etc., up on
the board,
whiteboard.
I heard you say something like that.
Mark's work order for repair was up there.
All right, cool.
So,
well,
JL one would have the assumption that they are intending to do something, but the question is when
and they didn't seem like outright crooks to you. I mean, I know it's hard to tell. In fact, some of your best crooks never seem like outright crooks. So
exactly.
All right,
no,
JL,
they seem to be a reputable business.
I do appreciate it, and for everybody listening, JL just called in. We put the call out, hey, if you're in this area, and you were right over, you took pictures, now you followed up, we got to have you in studio. Are you going to drive down to come in studio?
I could, I suppose.
All right, hold tight. Let's get him in as a common man. We'll deputize him. Deputize. My God. Go ahead.
Good. Three's a charm.
Deputize. It's not deputize. Deputize. This is crazy. What is it? Deputize.
I want to be deputized. Can I be deputized?
Now, we'll figure out what it is. Everybody hold tight. Betty, I promise I'll get to you. Joe, you've been holding a while. In fact, I'll take you next. We've got a ton going on. Everybody hang tight. We've got another update coming that's pretty outrageous. 303-713-8255, 303-Martino. Don't forget, live at Troubleshooter.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. And check us out and all of our great vendors at ReferralList.com. We'll be back! Why do I...
Deputize.
Deputy.
You're saying
deputize. Deputize.
Could be.
Now I'll never say it right. It's that word now. It's one of those words.
Deputize.
Deputize.
It's like, it sounds like something like really...
You're just trying to say deputy. It's deputize.
Deputy. Jeopardize. Let's call them up and we'll jeopardize them in studio.
I'll bet you on that safe. They got a good argument there on that.
It's a hell of a good argument. They found the gun. The safe had to be.
No, I mean, says, how do we know it's...
Oh, that's the dumbest thing in the world. My God, come on, Dan.
I don't know.
Yeah, Your Honor, they came in, the safe was open, they just wanted the safe, though.
Well,
and happened to take the guns with it.
What they did all take in the house. You know,
they were probably there for that safe.
Did they clean the whole house out?
I don't know, but if 6 people were there, they knew they were getting a big safe.
That's probably where, I mean, I would imagine most of those gun safes, they probably haul them out of the house.
They have.
What do you think?
They could have had it in the garage.
Not those big ones.
A lot of those great big ones, they stick them in the garage.
You know what, Dan? You think it was open?
No, I don't think so. But I'm saying what their argument's going to be.
Can you imagine making that argument?
It's a simple case, too. I mean, I'd say...
You know what? That's like making the argument, I wished them out. They willed them out, Your Honor. They just willed them out.
Please come to me.
Yeah, I don't see that hole in the water.
As far as unlawful break-in, that's what it actually says in there, unlawful break-in. And that's in their warranty.
Yeah, well, to me, it'd be unlawful when they stole the safe.
Right.
And why would you steal a 700-pound safe if it's open and what you want is the inside?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Did he say what kind of safe?
What do you want? We would have slapped mine and never want to load up or hand them out the door.
I mean, it's not like they could sell it to somebody else and they can have their own safe code on it or something.
Yeah, it's not like a hot market for safes.
Right.
No.
It's on Craigslist.
Right.
Safe, very cheap, have no idea, been broken into.
Right.
Makes a great paperweight.
Right.
Boat anchor.
These are big safes that they got. And those are
700 pounds. That'd be a good size safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You said it was 700 pounds? Boy. 700. That's a smaller one.
Is it really?
What they got here? They got this one's 1975, 1800 pounds, 1525, 1275.
Wow. Well, I guess you should have got one of the bigger ones then, huh? That'd have been a little bit harder to take.
Actually, he probably should have hid his gun somewhere else and put dog doo-doo inside the safe.
Well, a lot of those bigger ones, people can't get them in the house, so they leave them in the garage.
Where's your safe?
In the basement. Mine's not nearly as big as any of these here.
How much you got in there?
Ooh,
What's your address?
So this is kind of good. Kathy, there's a guy walking door to door in her neighborhood selling alarms, and I guess she shooed him away. Now he's talking smack to other neighbors about her, making stuff up. So I'm going to call the alarm
What could
company.
he be making stuff up about?
I don't know.
She shushed him. She shushed him.
She probably did shush him, Dave.
Maybe he's, what's his name, son? The ladies' man.
Oh, Kalen Eccles.
Yeah.
The ladies' man.
So what do you tell about a neighbor that, hey, she must have cursed him?
Right. She's a total bee over there.
Yeah. Right.
Don't be friends with her.
I mean, can you even imagine? I mean, what is...
Who cares what a door-to-door
Yeah,
salesman says?
I know, right? I'm like, so they're all, it's probably like an elderly neighborhood, and they all just like call each other because they're all like watching.
I just thought of my grandma.
We're trying to get rid of them.
With anything that happened, like there was this one family on the street. They were like, in retrospect, they were just like normal, like kids, teenage kids. But to hear her talk about them, back
They
then.
run amok.
Yeah.
They're skateboarding.
That's right. They've got this colored chalk and they're drawing on the driveway.
My brother was showing me how to make a hangman noose when we were kids, and we were by my upstairs window, and the neighbor called my mom and said, Lanny's going to hang Steve out the window. My mom said, okay.
Why'd you bother me?
Just don't make a mess.
Don't break anything.
I still wish I was there when you told your dad you were joining.
Yeah. We were telling stories when we were kids with the... Can't say it.
You can't start it and then stop.
Oh, well, so I just joined. I was a senior in high school and just joined the Marine Corps. And don't know, I mean, I wasn't really sure, what anyway. Like, when I drove me back, I went and told my mom. She was real proud of me because both her brothers were in World War II and stuff. And said, okay, I lived on a farm. I went out and told my dad, and it's in the winter time. He comes up to me and says, oh, what happened? I says, oh, I joined. He says, no, you didn't. No, you joined. I said, yeah, I did. I joined for 3 years. He goes, you stupid fucker.
It's just that story. You stupid fucker.
Well, and I just sat and looked there, and
You're like, wait a second.
Hey, that wasn't the reaction I thought I was giving.
I guess that wasn't the right.
You thought he was going to say, well played. Well played.
And I didn't get it.
I know how you felt.
So I guess he didn't want me to join. I took from that.
Yeah.
It's a great story, though. I can just see as a young lad.
Yeah.
Your mom's all happy, you're psyched.
Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Mom flips out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so, huh? At some point, though, you had to be happy, right? That you did it? Or you don't think so?
Well, probably, yeah. Years down the road.
When you survive.
When you survive.
Right.
He didn't want you dead. I mean, that's ultimately the deal. He's like, man, this guy can barely get along with the cattle.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Welcome to the show, 303-713-8255. I'm Mark Major. It's the only show of its kind. Yeah, that's right. We solve problems, we answer questions, we take complaints, we get directly involved, we try to help you out. Mark Kranak, attorney at law in studio with me. He's going to be helping us out. He's going to be sitting down and talking to Jessica with this Vincent Torres. And by the way, he's I-25 Roofing and Restoration. Bad guy. You see this, in my opinion, this guy's horrible, horrible, horrible. He's a deadbeat. He's a scumbag, in my opinion. Stay away from him. You'll see these I-25 Roofing and Restoration signs around Denver. Just stay away from him. Don't call him. He's going to be one of these guys, I bet, gives you a great price. But let me tell you, if you saw his work, It is so bad. I mean, there's holes in the roof. You can't even describe it like, oh, it needs this and that. It needs an entire new roof. I mean, anything he did on that house has to be torn off and started over. He did nothing. So Mark Kranak in studio. By the way, Mark Kranak, you do a lot of business-to-business litigation. You got a problem with your vendor. You got a problem maybe with a customer in collections, or vice versa. You got a problem with a company. You do a lot of litigation.
Yeah, a lot of business litigation. A lot of that stuff would start typically, I think, like with a contract dispute, but depending on what's going on, I mean, there could be fraud, civil theft claims.
You've helped us go after, you helped a good customer, a big business on the referral list, go after an insurance company that didn't want to pay. I mean, I know you can't talk about it. You're still doing something on it, but what is that called? Bad faith?
Yeah, bad faith insurance. The typical case there would be you have an insurance policy and your insurance company, won't pay or won't adjust the claim in a timely manner.
What I didn't realize, and you shared with me, even if someone over the phone says, yes, you're covered, if you can prove that, let's say you happen to have that recorded, or they had it recorded, and you get it through discovery. Once they admit you're covered, I mean, pretty much they can't back out of it, right? Once there's a coverage there. In other words, they can't go back and say, hey, you never put a claim in, if you can prove that, yeah, you told them about it, and they said you were covered.
Yeah, they're probably SOL on that one. If they tell you you're covered at some point, that would be hard to back out of.
All right, 303-713-8255. I promise I'll get to the phones in a second. I also want to talk to Alyssa and Steve. They're with Christie's Design, Build, and Remodeling on a referral list at referrallist.com. If you're new to the show, these are people that go on there, and what do you guys do? You sign our code of ethics. And the reality is, if there's a problem, you get a call from me, or you get a call from Tom, you get a call from someone saying, hey, look into this, here's what the consumer's saying. But that's what the referral list is all about. Unlike any other place, unlike Angie's Place or Home, what is it, not Home Depot, Home Advisor, all these other places, these lead generation, we actually have teeth in our contract with you guys. And I bring this up not just because of you guys, but why people should use a referral list. Now, you guys are contractors. Everybody we talked about the first hour are, wannabe contractors. We've got Colorado Window and Siding Outlet that took $18,500. The siding looks like crap, from Mark. We've got Jessica and Vincent Torres, I-25 Roofing, we were just talking about. This guy did probably the worst job I ever saw. He wasn't licensed to work in Denver. This happened in Denver. She sued him. He's countersuing. Mark's helping us out. Then we have Linda, who paid this other guy. Listen to this one, guys. Eric Laxon, L-A-X-S-O-N. Eric Laxon, Denver Kitchen and Bath. This guy, this is like the ultimate in your face. This woman he took close to $44,000 from. She might have got 10 grand worth of this or that, and I'm being very generous. There's some tile laying down in her basement. There's some other supplies. And on top of that, he did demo the bathroom. He demoed some of the tile floor downstairs. He did a little work, and I'm giving him a lot more than I should, 10 grand. But he still took her Home Depot card, charged up $18,000. Now, she admitted that she let him use it. They would call her from the store, and he was supposed to be buying materials to do her house. So what does he do? He turns around and returns them and gets credit back in his pocket, not back to her account. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
This is insane.
He bought tools, he kept the tools, he returned some tools, she got no value of those, and he bought food. The guy was buying like candy bars and stuff. He couldn't even afford to buy his own candy bar. And then when we get over there, Deputy Dan, and check it out, the work was shoddy. This guy, Linda, or this woman, Linda, is also, what was she, Air Force?
Right, 22-year veteran.
22-year Air Force vet. She's got some health issues. And I got to tell you, this is BS. Once again, another bad contractor. And where did they find him? I don't even remember. Probably found him on Craigslist. Probably found him somewhere. So how do you guys compete with this? You guys, we know you do business right, but you got to figure, Steve, that this guy shows up and gives her the lowest bid. And that's why she goes with him. Or sweet talks, or does whatever. I mean, how do you compete with plain rip-offs out there like that? A lot of people don't do research.
You can't compete with them. People, all we can do is suggest people do their research on people. That's why we like the referral list, because I like to believe that if someone does have a complaint that they don't feel like they could talk to me about, that they can talk to you and Tom, and I'll get the message, and then I can fix what the complaint is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the goal.
Yeah, and a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, most of the time it's a communication problem. And that's not with you, it's with anybody. Communication problems are always going to happen, and they're not a huge deal long as people start communicating and get around the problem. But when you take a lot of money and do nothing, that's a whole different level of crap like these guys were talking about. You guys do everything, though. I mean, you guys do full additions.
Yeah.
How back are you right now on subcontractors? Say you got a job and you're putting a full addition onto the house, adding a bedroom. You guys do that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're adding an entire bedroom on. How far out are you right now? Simply because of labor.
Several months just because of labor.
Okay, but you can do a lot of the other stuff. If they called you today or whatever, you can get to the design work. But the subcontractors right now, the actual labor on the ground is getting hard in Colorado.
Framing is really hurting us as far as doing additions, but we can get to like basements and kitchens and bathrooms a lot quicker.
Wire framing, is it all the new construction?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so these guys are out banging out KB Homes and banging out Lennar and banging out, who was the other one we had a call on today? The third
Richmond.
Richmond Homes. I mean, they're building all these homes I'm seeing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and they're booked. I've tried to get one for a Boulder project for another contractor, and every framer I have is booked out to the end of September.
Yep, that's what we get. So what happens is, you know, people go with people they probably shouldn't use. I guarantee you've been in this position. You've got a customer saying, hey, this was supposed to be done at this time, and you're going, my God, you know, every window guy I use is busy for another 2 weeks. So you have the decision to use someone you've never dealt with before and hope for the best because ultimately you're responsible, or tell the customer to wait. I mean, you know, it happens all the time in construction right now. And I know you guys wouldn't use the shoddy guy, but a lot of companies do, because the consumer's like, hey, you're supposed to be done at this time. Well, but with all the hail around here, too, you know, roofers are way back. Right. You know, there's a hailstorm in Colorado Springs. It's almost the 1-year anniversary, or it was like a few weeks ago, of a $2 billion storm, billion-dollar storm. I mean, you couldn't get anything done. They had a USAF or whatever that place is just writing checks out in the parking lot, and State Farm and everybody else.
But
I mean, it's nuts.
It all comes back to communication again. You know, when people talk to me up front about it, I let them know ahead of time that, yes, we are booked out quite a bit because it is such a busy industry right now, but let's get the planning and designing process so that way our project manager can start scheduling you out. And
then you're ready to go.
Exactly. We can just get it all done and taken care of.
Joe, what's going on with you? Joe.
Yes.
What is up, sir? How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for taking my call. Hey, my wife had surgery a year ago, and I paid the hospital, I paid the doctor, and 9 months later I got a bill from the assistant surgeon, and the insurance company had denied payment to him twice. It went to appeal, and now it went to collection, and now they're charging me interest on the balance.
Well, it's curious, because just because your insurance isn't going to pay for it doesn't necessarily mean you're not liable for it. Mark, join in here. And I'm totally guessing because I'm not looking at anything. It's very possible that his insurance says, no, we don't pay for that. That's part of your policy. Your policy says we pay for the doctor, we pay for this, we pay for that. So it's really hard. Maybe John from Integra, Suzanne, he'd be a curious one to ask on this. But, Mark, any thoughts on it?
Well, I think you're right. The first step would be to figure out whether or not it should have been paid by an insurance company. Do you have an idea about that?
Yes, they said that on her procedure that an assistant surgeon wasn't necessary. So it went to appeal twice, and they denied payment twice. But
it's curious what to do here, because, once again, Joe, listen to what I'm saying.
Right, I understand. I just want to know if I'm responsible. If I'm responsible, I'll pay the bill.
I'm going to ask somebody over at Integra. Is someone over there, Suzanne? We're going to try to get an expert up that I'm guarantee he'll be able to look into it, look at your policy. Here's what I like about Integra. He can go to that next step and say, well, wait a minute, this probably should have been covered or not, because I don't know your policy. I have no idea. Who is your health care provider?
It was Cigna.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would be interested to find out from Integra, too, to take a look at the policy. You know, yes, it should have been covered, or no, it shouldn't, because if it should have been covered, then what? Then you have a bad faith claim.
Yeah, see, well, that's exactly right, too. So hold on. We want to talk about that. Joe, hold on. I got to take a break and pay a bill, but I do have an expert on coming up right after the break. By the way, Joan Sullivan, she was in last week. I love this woman. Approval reverse mortgage. Unlike anybody else that's pushing reverse mortgages, she doesn't push them. She's going to tell you if it's right for you. She probably tells a lot of clients, no, you're better off doing this, or better off with a traditional finance, or better off not taking it out if you want to leave it to the kids. She will go over everything, but here's the bottom line. If you're over 62 and you need a little more cash flow, maybe you want to take the vacations, hey, you're getting along in years, now it's time for you to have some fun. If you want to convert some of that equity into cash that you can use, or cash flow, or get rid of the mortgage payment altogether, call Joan Sullivan, see if it's right for you. It could change your entire life. She's a great woman, and she's going to give you the skinny. 303-771-3528. Call her right now, 303-771-3528, and you can always check her out at referralist.com.
I just don't understand why she let this contractor she would give him basically her credit card. You just gave him your credit card.
Well, because he said, I'm going to go out and buy the supplies at Home Depot.
Right. But
so 2x4s, tiles, everything needed for bathroom remodel, the toilet, the sinks, the bathtub.
That was part of the agreement. She would pay the materials.
Well, the reason I think she wanted to do that is then she took advantage of the 1 year, no interest. This was her way of spreading out. It made logical sense. Of course, most people wouldn't have done it, but...
See, we don't do that.
Well,
we buy the materials and you pay us for the materials.
Yeah, right.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we need our markup on those materials. So to me, it's like, why would she question how is he making his money on this job?
Well, he's saying it's all labor. Well, here's how he made his money. He took all her money.
And he took the money up front, too.
It was a hell of a good day for
That's
him.
one of the big flags is when someone's asking you to pay for the materials or a sub instead of them. That should be a flag. And the other thing that people don't do, and they should do, is ask them about their insurances.
Yeah.
Some won't have
He did have a
insurances.
license. He did have a license, but I don't think she'd see if it is bonded, right? Maybe
No insurance. You don't have to be bonded. The state really adds up the cost of the project to be bonded. But if he just has general liability, workers' comp insurance, things like that, you know, I pay almost $12 grand a year for those things. The guy on Craigslist, it doesn't.
Right. So if he has a license, the state doesn't say, hey, if you get this license, you have to have insurance.
You don't get a state license as a contractor. You only get license in municipalities. Like Denver requires.
Denver might require some form of insurance.
If he starts out like at Johnstown or Firestone, they're going to say, here.
So they can have a state license. I see. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. The only two that have state licenses are plumber and electricians. I wish they had a contractor state license, and every city had to play by the same rules. But
right. Yeah. Right. So do you do any work on your own, or you're just you're the contractors?
General contractors.
General contractors.
Well, we have our staff. We have project managers. Sometimes, like right now with framing problems, I got my project managers doing the framing, and and if we do bring in a sub that we don't know, he watches real closely, and we're ready to kick him off the job anytime and take over if we have to.
Well, we know this homeless guy that he can nail a hell of a
Tool.
Mr. Tool.
And if you run out of siding, he can snag it right off another
house. You need to get the joke? That's absolutely true. He took it from the back.
The only thing would have been funnier is if it was a different color.
I heard that last week.
Absolutely true.
I listen all the time. Every time I get a chance.
That's an absolute true story.
Bulldog purchased ended up being a pit bull. I can picture a pit bull, and I can. How the hell they could confuse the two? I have no idea. They look completely different. Now, a big one they do is bulldogs No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking boxers and pit bulls are, that's a big breed.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking was, bulldog is a totally different.
Yeah, bulldog's a little,
Yeah.
I guess is a little baby.
Who would want a bulldog?
Oh, they're a good dog.
Yeah, but they slobber.
Well, they got those sleep around.
Yeah, it depends which kind you get, too.
Oh, really? I thought out of the ones I've seen.
My damn beagle's in the vet this morning. He cut the shit out of himself somehow. He got torn. I don't know if it was on a tree. We got 6 acres. He hasn't escaped for over a year. So there's nowhere, there's no purpose in escaping.
There's no barbed wire fence around or anything that you hooked on or anything?
Nothing. I think it had to be chasing something. No, because it's right under. Can you picture a chicken wing where it breaks apart? Drumette and the wing. It's like that skin in between there. And I think something grabbed it and just tore the hell out of it. Huge gash.
Jumping over something and getting caught or something?
Something.
Oh.
Could be anything. I wouldn't even know where to start looking. It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
You try and fix your pond and you had a sharp rock.
I found some stuff to, actually I'm going to ask listeners too. I found some stuff on Amazon.
Oh, it's illegal.
You know, I was talking about Joe Sullivan, who's a great reverse lender on our referral list, but I got to tell you, someone that I've personally used. I'm not old enough to use Joan yet, but when I am, I'll check into it. But Tom could use her now. Actually, I don't know. He was thinking, did you know this? Actually, Dan, did you know this? Some people use a reverse mortgage not to downsize, but to upsize. She can actually do a reverse mortgage if you have a lot of equity and want to move into a bigger house to where you have no payments, and basically it's a swap. But anyhow, what I was getting to, though, is Frank Duran, the real estate man. This guy has saved me personally a ton of money. His negotiating skills. He's the only realtor that I know of that actually has a degree in negotiations. He also hires an attorney. Listen to what I'm saying. About every 2 months, he meets with a real estate attorney. Mark, you're an attorney. You'd appreciate this. And goes over real estate laws that have changed. Does refreshers, does everything. The guy's unbelievable. Have you heard of any realtor that spends that much time trying to, make sure he does a better job than any other realtor?
No, but that's smart because, you clearly have been doing this about 20 years now. If you take care of things at the transaction stage, don't get into trouble.
You don't have trouble afterwards.
You don't have trouble. You want to avoid litigation.
And he's an amazing man. I got to tell you, Frank is the salt of the earth, and don't let anybody ever tell you. Now, if you got to negotiate with him and he's working for you, he's the best guy in the world. If you're on the other side to that, you're still going to think he's nice, but you're not going to see him coming. Frank Duran, the real estate man, 303-920-1622. You can't put yourself in better hands. 303-920-1622. All right, let's get right back to Joe. Hey, Joe, I have John Jones with Integra. For everybody listening, Joe called up, and I'm going to recap real quick for John, then I'll bring him up. So, Joe, about a year ago, you went into the hospital, and you ended up paying the emergency room, you ended up paying the doctor, but then this assistant was charging you too. Your insurance company denied him 2 times. They went through appeal, and ultimately, he never got paid. And now they're coming directly after you, even though the insurance company didn't pay it out. Correct, Joe?
That's correct.
Now, I do want to ask one question, though, and this is kind of silly, but I'm assuming the guy was actually in the room and did something. It's not a totally bogus claim.
No, I don't know. First of all, it wasn't for me. It was for my wife.
Got it.
She went to the emergency room, and they did surgery at 11 o'clock at night.
Okay, so it was a...
So I have no idea who was in the room.
How much was the total bill?
Well, he wanted $4,800, and then he reduced it to $350. But the insurance company said that I don't owe him anything.
See, what's curious to me, and I've done this, I literally signed a non-disclosure, so I'm gonna pretend it's someone else. Think of a company like a cell phone company that sucks, like one that really, really sucks. Like, let me just throw one out there. This has nothing to do with the disclosure I signed, but let's just say, what's one that really, really, really sucks? Suzanne, just give me a name.
I'm thinking T-Mobile?
T-Mobile really sucks, in my opinion, so I'll just go with them. This has nothing to do with them, but let's just pretend they put something on my credit that shouldn't be there. I sued them in small claims court for breach of contract. Guess what? They ended up giving me a check for $500, and it was completely off my credit report within within a week of the settlement being signed. I'm just using this as an example.
No, that's where I think this thing is going, because they're ultimately, if they don't have the hospital doesn't get its money, it will be referred out to a collection agency. There will be a derogatory reporting.
That's right.
And there's where you go back with you dispute it with the credit bureau.
Yeah, but you know how that works, Mark. You dispute stuff with the credit bureau, they basically call up and go, or they don't even call up. They send them an electronic message saying, let us know if this is fake. I mean, really, that's what they do.
Well, that's pretty much it. But if it's not a legit bill, if you don't actually owe the money, and you send the credit bureau documents saying, look, I don't know it, and this is why.
Yeah.
The credit bureau then incurs liability if they don't permanently delete it.
That's right. And then you could actually sue them.
Sue them?
Go after them for, I don't know if that'd be bad faith, but for whatever it would be. But I got to tell you, really, and Joe, we're going to go to John just to dig into it a little more. I got to tell you, though, small claims court, if you're going to fight it. But John Jones with Integra Insurance. John,
hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great. The question I have for you, though, is just because your health insurance doesn't pay for something, hey, I could go out and get a boob job, and I don't think they're going to pay for my boob job.
No, they won't.
Kaiser's going to laugh me out of there.
And can I ask Joe a quick question?
Of course.
Was your wife admitted into the hospital after the surgery, or was it strictly emergency room?
No, she was admitted to the hospital.
And do you know if they had to go through pre-authorization at all?
I don't think they had time since it was like an emergency.
Yeah, it's an emergency room.
Okay.
She went to the emergency room and then they admitted her.
Hold on. You both are talking. Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
I took her to the emergency room, and then she was admitted in the hospital for surgery.
So, John, I guess, I'm sorry, it wasn't Anthem. Who was it, Cigna?
Yes.
So, John, I got to ask you, how does that work? If I have an emergency, well, I'll give you a perfect example. My daughter was playing soccer, and I thought she threw her shoulder out of the joint, but anyhow, we ended up at the emergency room. Long story short, there was an x-ray technician, there was the emergency room fees, the doctor's fees, the nurse's fees. Christ, they might have charged me for a Twinkie while we were in there, I don't know. But there was fees left and right. What can the insurance company say? I mean, if the hospital sends someone in there, I mean...
situation, a life or limb, and you're in an in-network facility, everything should be covered.
So this guy should be covered?
I would think so. And the only thing I'd recommend, Joe, and if you talked with the surgeon, did he feel like that assistant surgeon has to be in that room?
Well, that's what the insurance company said, that this procedure does not ask for an assistant surgeon. So that's why they denied it. I guess he already had his people in there. I don't know. But all I know is that it was declined by the insurance company twice. And I'm wondering if I owe this bill because...
He actually appealed, John, twice. The insurance or the doctor or the assistant actually appealed twice and lost.
Right.
I heard that part. And the other thing, too, Joe, when we finish the conversation, if you don't mind, give me a quick call because I have another thought.
You know what? Okay. I like that idea. So hold on a second. I'm going to put you both on hold. Let's switch information. But, Joe, on the other hand, before I put you off with John, and John Jones, Integra Insurance, remember, when you're shopping for, I don't care if it's a business policy for health insurance or if it's a personal or if it's on the exchange, call John Jones. These guys are Integra, unbelievable. They never charge anything. They get paid on the other side by the insurance companies. But this is why you need a good broker. If you're going on to that exchange and doing it yourself, you're crazy. Because if something like this happens, John Jones and his family and his employees will fight for you at Integra Insurance. They're at 303-466-5500. John, I appreciate it. Hold tight so you can talk to Joe. 303-466-5500. Integra Insurance. But, Joe, what I want to tell you is, it's interesting. Mark Kranak with me. Mark, his beef, I don't know if his actual beef, I don't know who it's with, because here's the problem. This assistant probably was in there and probably did do something. Therefore, he should get paid, right? His beef might be with the insurance company, like you were saying, for bad faith. But if they went to appeals twice, and under both appeals, they were denied, or he was denied. I assume the assistant was a he, but I mean, what do you make of this? Who's his beef with?
Well, it could be with out of the gate, one of two people. So first of all, the policy either covered it or it didn't, right? And if it covered it, then the insurance company should be paying for it. I don't know what the answer to that question is. So you've got an assistant in the room, but if why did if it didn't cover it, then why was the assistant in the room? So you could go back to the hospital and say, look, my insurance company won't pay for it because the guy shouldn't have been there.
Well, that would be the argument. And if it went up on appeals twice, you would assume that could be where this thing goes. Therefore, he shouldn't be trying to charge this guy for it either.
Yeah. But the credit angle is not so bad in one of these situations, because if an argument can be made,
oh, he's going to have to hire an attorney,
that you don't owe the money, you can dispute it, which is a pretty simple process. And you know,
now here's what could kill him though. And think about this. This is the kind of the risk factor when you talk about suing someone. We talked about how this other guy kicked it up to district court with this, in my opinion, this bogus counterclaim, but whatever, it got kicked up. This guy wanted $4,800 originally. Now he's down to $350. If he gets served, even in small claims court, he's going to be going after the $4,800. So he does risk the fact that he might get a judgment against him. If his insurance company doesn't have to pay, it doesn't mean he doesn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think these hospitals, what they do is they on a like a monthly basis, they just bundle all of their uncollected debt
and sell it off.
Sell it to a debt collector, and then you're dealing with a debt collector.
Yeah.
And you know the debt.
But you still, in my opinion, if you're going after someone for breach of contract, you don't go after the debt collector. You go off the original debtor.
Yeah, I mean, if the debt collector ultimately winds up with this in its sack of alleged debt that they're buying, I mean, they still have to. If they ultimately sued you, they have to still prove the case, right?
Absolutely. All right, everybody hold tight. We're going to be right back. Kathy's got a problem with a salesperson going door to door. We've got a guy that has a renter that skipped out on a 2-year lease. And then this one, I can't wait to get to, a bulldog. The guy thinks he's buying a bulldog. You know, that reminds me of Kalen Eccles, because he said that the guy's wife was after him like a bulldog was after a bone. Anyhow, I had to say that. You know what? Some words are ruined for me, because now every time I think of a bulldog, I think of freaking Kalen Eccles and his shenanigans. But anyhow, everybody hold tight. We'll be back right after these messages.
A bulldog.
I think that guy just paid $350.
What do you mean?
Oh, for the insurance thing? $350? Yeah, I'm like, that's not, I mean...
That's a risk if that doctor gets a judgment for $48. Now it's not coming off, and he owes $3,500 more than he could have walked with.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Hey, Ivanson, I know his people have been going back and forth with Tom about doing the spot before the 3rd hour because he's always so busy.
Yeah, when do you want to do it?
Well, he texted saying, can I call at 11:45?
That's fine.
Can you call in the break, or should he be calling before the break starts? I don't know how that part works.
Doesn't matter. Ask. It's going to be totally up to Kevin.
Okay, I'll ask him.
Probably outside of it. And then what I want to do is move. I want to tell Kevin that I'm going to do Lazara at 12:15 with Pro Auto.
Okay, awesome.
Steve, we should have sent you up to I-25. You wouldn't have believed it. This would have been one for your...
To go Loveland one, yeah.
Yeah, you
will. Well, it's not. Well, it's actually North Denver. It's right off 70 and
right
I-25.
next to that crazy-ass railroad tracks.
You said XL up there, right? What did he say?
He said it is a story made for television. He goes, it's unbelievable. They're dealing with that insurance company. There is something there. The money's somehow locked up a little. I think they can get around it, but maybe not with the counterclaim.
This is, yeah, you just wouldn't believe it.
Because he might have. If you're a roofer or a contractor and you're doing an insurance job, and you have all your paperwork signed, so you're dealing directly with the insurance company on behalf of the homeowner, and then you say you finished the job and it's done, the homeowner tells the insurance company not to pay you because the job sucks. That gets a little weird within itself too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Because you have to deal with the insurance company.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it does. It's going to get back to your policy terms and then whatever you sign with the contractor, I don't know, but I'm not sure who has the authority under the circumstances. But yeah, that gets kind of weird.
But I think that caller was right. He does have no standing. He never pulled a permit.
Yeah, he's got in Denver.
In Denver, doesn't have a license to work in Denver County.
Yeah.
And she tried to sue him small claims in Denver, and they wouldn't take it, so they had to go to, was it Adams or no?
Could be Adams County.
Yeah.
Take it. What do you mean?
They said no. This is the business is in Adams County. You got to sue him in Adams County. But the place was in Denver.
Oh, they should have. You could.
That's what she had said. I've heard other places and stuff.
You know, the one that got me, that telco I sued, Douglas County made me put a local address. Made me. And so I found a company-owned store that was owned by that company and used that for the address and literally have them serve there. But they said I could not do it. And I started thinking, well, geez, what else if you want to take someone to small claims court that, you know, was a large company that doesn't own anything in Douglas County? What the hell would I do?
Right.
And what they're saying is I'd have to find the county they're in and sue them there in small claims.
I don't think that's true. I think that if they're doing work...
Well, the court clerk literally wouldn't let me do it. She would not let me file it. I had no choice. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Sue one of their stores? The stores didn't do anything. This is a corporate deal. But it still worked out. It didn't matter.
That's just, so he was supposed to be working with her insurance company, or was she paying direct out of pocket?
She paid $2,400, which was her deductible. And then the insurance company ended up paying the first check for $2,000.
Directly to him?
Directly to him. Then they were ready to pay the second check, the finished check, for $10,000. And she got a hold of him and said, whoa, 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 you can't pay him that.
Right.
He didn't do anything, you know.
Right. That's crazy. That's, well, and just to even go through that headache, we will rarely deal with the insurance. Yeah, wouldn't you think?
What?
He's fraud.
He's trying to fraud the
Roofer is trying to fraud the insurance company, saying something.
Oh my God, the guy was taking siding from the back. Fraud is like...
I just don't know how he even dealt with
I'm
that.
surprised the insurance company isn't going after him for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're only out $2,000. Well, no. What do they care? She hired him. She acknowledged that first check going out to him.
Yeah. I'm shocked that they didn't require, like, insurances and licenses and stuff, because anytime...
Insurance companies don't. They've told me that before. That's the reason I don't do it. It's like, well, I got to pay for insurance as part of my overhead and licenses and this.
So you won't deal with insurance companies?
We will on a very, very rare basis. Like, it's very...
It's usually I'll deal with the homeowner, I don't deal with his own insurance company.
So, but sometimes a homeowner has insurance, but you say you want them to get the money, just cut you a check.
They have better fight with the insurance company than we ever do.
Yeah, huh?
I mean, they'll always be like, you're too expensive, you're too expensive.
Insurance companies never pay what the job is really worth doing, or what it takes a good company to do it with.
Yeah. You're in good hands, right? Until they cut a check.
Yeah.
All right, folks, 303-713-8255. I guess disco's coming back. It's ladies' night. What's the relevance here? Help me.
It's Wednesday. Let's go out.
Remember, the ladies, man. You know what? Good one, Kevin. Good one.
Well,
That's
Wednesday
right.
is usually ladies' night at the bars, Mark.
I was talking about old Eccles because someone called up. They dropped off. I feel bad when they held that long, but apparently they bought a bulldog or thought they were buying a bulldog and ended up being a pit bull. If he calls back, we have successfully gone after breeders in the past. We can at least turn up the pressure if you call back. There's not a line open right now, but when and if, I would love to hear from you. Interesting. 303-713-8255. Betty's been hanging a while. Betty, what's going on with you?
Did you say Betty?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Okay. Okay, I have a couple of rental properties, and I've managed them for 40 years. I've never run into this problem before.
Okay.
Trusted this guy. He had completed a 2-year lease, and then he renewed it. I didn't go in and check the house out. I thought everything was okay, which was stupid of me. Anyway, then a few months into that new 2-year lease, he wanted to break the lease. So I tried to work with him because...
Why did he want to break it?
Because he said he would work for... Home Advisor. He was a manager, and he said they were transferring him.
Okay, so I mean, it had nothing to do with the conditions of the place.
No.
Okay.
He was.
So what happened?
And well, everything he had agreed with me to do, he didn't do any of it. He tore up the house. He ripped sinks out of the wall, put holes in the wall. His kids drew all over the wall.
Wait a minute. Was this supposed to be, was he supposed to be working in there, like, in exchange for rent?
No,
Okay.
this place was in good shape
So
when
he
moved
just,
in.
he
Real
totally
good shape.
screwed it up. How much of a
totally
deposit
screwed it up.
did you have, Betty?
I didn't have enough to even cover the water bill that he left me with.
Oh, my goodness. What
he
a bum.
He left trash in the backyard, and I had to have someone come in and haul that out. And between that and the water bill, took the whole deposit. So
what's your question?
We're above and beyond. What?
What's your question?
Okay, my question is, I thought I'd go after him in small claims court
Good
here
idea.
in Adams County where I live. Well, I can't. They said I have to go to El Paso County where he moved. And
they've changed a lot of these rules. In fact, I was talking to Mark over the break. It's Douglas County absolutely refused to let me sue somebody because they didn't have a address in Douglas County. I got around it and figured out something else. But Mark, I got to tell you, it's different. It's different in small claims court, and I think they're starting to crack down on this stuff because this isn't the first time we hear this. Someone goes down and goes to file, and they simply don't let them file unless the address is inside that county.
Jeez, I mean, I think if the work is to be performed, if the contract, in this case the lease, is performed in a particular county, I mean, it seems to me that there's what's called venue. You could sue them in that county.
Betty, it's and if they, here's what I always thought, you sue them, and then if they have an argument over it, they would ask for a change of venue.
That's right, you transfer venue.
But they're not even giving them that opportunity anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that seems a little wacky.
I got mad at the court clerk in Douglas. I said, who are you to decide what venue is? Isn't this the judge? Can't I argue venue in front of them? And she says, no, we don't even file them unless it's in Douglas County. So I guess that's how it is.
They rented in Adams County.
I understand.
That's where they lived, and that's where I tried to file. But
I understand.
I have to file where they moved. Okay.
Well, hold on. Do you know where he is now?
Yeah, I know where he is.
Well, I'll even do this for you. We've got a great deputy, I call him, down in El Paso. If you get the paperwork, I'll have him served. You go get it filed, and I'll have him served for you.
Here's my problem. I don't have the help to go down there. I can't even drive that distance.
Oh.
So I can't.
How much money are we talking?
It's around $6,000.
Do you think he has any money, Betty, or are we chasing a ghost? What is it?
He's a manager with Home Advisor, so I mean, I would think there's money to attach
They
there.
have a patented algorithm. I just remember that. They threatened to sue us because of a patented algorithm. But anyhow, wow, there's a whole new one for Home Advisor, so I guess if you want to use Home Advisor, be careful. These are the kind of guys, I guess, working for him. What's this guy's name?
Ooh, can I say that?
Yeah, you can say it. Of course you can.
William Briscoe.
All right, so let's do this. I think, boy, it'd be nice to have a deputy. Where do you live?
Adams County.
I mean, just roughly, though, where?
Oh, around Brighton area.
Okay, if a listener's out there, you have internet, right, Betty?
Yes.
Okay, so if we got you the stuff you need to fill out for court, and I had someone pick it up, you know what, we also have that courier that owes us a million favors, and then go up and file it for you. Maybe we'll do that. Hold tight. Let's see if we can't figure that out. The Brighton area, if she gets this paperwork done, if someone out there would grab it and then get it down here to the station, I'll get it to El Paso and get it filed. But anyhow, 303-713-8255. Brent Ivinson with Ideal Home Loans. Brent, I got to tell you something, man. I have got so many issues with contractors, Tom and I last week. I've got great contractors in studio right now, and we were talking during the break, instead of moving, if you want to redo your house, if you want to put an addition on it, you want to do it, should you put your equity to work for you and basically put those upgrades into your house? Is it a good time to do that, Brent?
It is. If you have a number of people, and we see this with our clients all the time, they go out and look around and they're thinking about moving up, and what they're realizing is to move up and get something of significance is going to run them a lot more than they anticipated. And the great thing is, with all the appreciation we've seen, with all the home values increasing, the home you're standing in can fund your remodeling project. And the great thing is you don't have to move and deal with the headache of moving. You can tap into your equity, remodel that kitchen, finish your basement, the bathroom, maybe the addition you're looking at doing. All those things you can refinance today, remodel tomorrow.
How about a new deck and a hot tub? You can do that too, Kate.
That'd be perfect too. All of those things. The outdoor kitchen you've been looking for, any of those things.
Put that money to work for you. Put that equity to work if you're going to live in that house a long time. And a lot of times, like Brent was saying, you put that money into your house right now to upgrade it. All of a sudden, your house is worth more, and you're still growing. So I got to tell you, credit optimization, custom term loans, or rate guarantee, pre-approval like no other, Ideal Home Loans. Brent, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Absolutely, thanks.
You're welcome. You got to call this guy. Any loans you need, you got to call Brent Ivinson, Ideal Home Loans. You ready for the number? Just call him right now. That custom term loan is absolutely unbelievable. You realize if you're in a 30 and want to get to a 20, they can do it. If you're in a 15, maybe you want to get to a 10, they can do it. The interest you save over that period of time is mind-blowing. In some cases, $500,000. Give them a call. Dig into it. 303-867-7000. 303-867-7000. 303-867-7000. Or idealhomeloans.com.
This report is brought to you by Hum.
That's something that always cracks me up. It's easier to get a loan on a $60,000 vehicle than it is to get a loan on a $60,000 kitchen.
Yeah.
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 And the vehicle loses money and the kitchen gains you value.
Yeah.
But are they taking loans just for the kitchen, or are they going to have to refinance their whole home?
Even like a construction loan. So like for a construction loan, like we have clients that like bend over backwards trying to, you know, we have to retype up, like not do like our normal estimate. We have to do an estimate in their form, in their estimating form, and we have to, you know, it's just amazing with the stuff that we have to prove and show to them, and the stuff that our clients actually have to do to actually get that loan to go through versus.
See if we can get Jessica on.
Credit can walk in and buy a $60,000 truck.
Right. It's going to be like a second they're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got one now that's looking at doing
the one with Vincent Torres, I-25.
And
I got to get her down to meet Mark over at his place.
She's owned this house for 20 years. It has to be.
Where's your office, Mark?
Right. I've got an office out in Aurora, but I don't hardly ever go there.
So where would you want to meet Jessica?
She can give me a call. I could be with her over either out at Aurora or down.
Yeah, you guys.
I'm not sure why she's not
The
refinancing.
reason I say it, they go through Ideal Home Loans. A lot of people say they have 30. They got 20 years. They can refinance it and just put it back to the 10 years. So basically the same payments are, you know, what they had before. Interest rates, she had a 30-year loan. Interest rates are cheaper now than they were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And refinancing with that kind of equity, go to Ideal Home Loans.
Yeah.
They get the, and that way they can do the cash out.
Yeah.
This is better.
I didn't know it was so hard to get these constructions.
And then the cost of,
Well, and
because they have inspectors for like banks like Wells Fargo on the 401 or 501k loan or whatever it is. That costs like $2,500.
I need
for them to have an
Jessica's
inspector
number.
to come out and check to see if we actually did.
I need
Which
Jessica's
protects the
number.
bank, I understand that, but the cost
I just got
keeps adding
25
into
I think the reason why they do construction loans
You got
is because
Jessica's
they don't
number,
have to pay
Dan?
for it until after the job's done.
Right, but
So.
like say if she refinanced her house, she could get the cash. Say it's worth $400,000. She's only got $200,000 left to pay. I mean, she should have no problem getting 75-80% of it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to talk to
Pardon me, do you have Jessica's number with the I-25 interstate? I'm going to give her a call.
somewhere.
Oh, that's all Linda's
Yeah,
stuff.
but I think I stuck all of her stuff in there. Unless I stuck it in
Bill,
my notes there.
it's the one with the I-25,
Yep.
right?
Right.
This last week.
He went out to Jay's guy. Dan went out to I-25 roofing, you know, to give a bid on there. His guy said the remodeler looked really sketchy. He's the old guy.
that far back. But I'll look through my stuff again.
Someone appeared from the basement.
You probably did. So I can run downstairs too.
Well, Mark just wanted her on.
I got to tell her I got to introduce her to Cranack on the air and get them together.
I'll look through my stuff again.
God, that is so funny.
Sure, I think it is.
I wanted to hear Kathy. She was on for a long time.
Who's Kathy?
She was on 101.
Her the sellers.
Yeah, the one that was, I guess, the neighbors.
Oh man, Kathy dropped off. See, I made her wait too long, didn't I, Suzanne? Is an hour is not professional. Kathy, please call back. I will give you priority.
Right now all lines are full, but I did want to hear that story. It sparked my interest, and now I want to hear it. She's not there. Goodness gracious. I will try harder to get to these calls quicker. Dave's got a comment on the surgical assistants. This guy, he paid the emergency room, he paid the doctor. This surgical assistant ultimately wanted $4,800. He lost on appeal twice with the insurance company and then said forget it and went right after the actual person, or actually his wife. So what's your comment, Dave? Dave?
Hello?
Yes, Dave, you're up. Go ahead, sir.
This isn't Dave. My name's Ethan. I didn't actually talk to anybody yet, but I do have a comment about Cigna.
Oh.
That is that I just want them to, or warn everybody to stay away from them, because I see a specialist doctor at least once a month, and I had gotten Cigna on the pretense that my doctor was in network with them.
Yeah.
And so I go to have my first appointment when I have the new plan, and it gets denied.
Yeah.
And so now, after 6 months of fighting, we finally got them to cover it, but they still say it's out of network, and I have reference numbers from talking to customer service with them saying, oh, he's in network, and they kept telling us that his tax ID number was wrong, but he had said that he's only ever had one tax ID number being in business. So Cigna just likes to play games.
Ethan, it's not just Cigna, though. I got to tell you, Kaiser, how many hours do I have on with Kaiser on a yearly basis, Suzanne? I mean, just a ballpark. Oh, she's on the phone. I would say easily 8 every year. Every year. Over crap. These insurance companies, you know, they're going to get their butts handed to them at some point. I don't understand how, you know, fighting for coverage is crazy. And then, remember this has nothing to do with the insurance companies, but you get to keep your doctor, you get to keep everything. None of that turned out right. It's all crap. No. Ethan, I appreciate it, and I can hear your frustration with Cigna. You know, I don't know how these health insurance companies are going to recover from the horrible PR on everything. You know, you can blame Obama, you can blame whoever you want. The reality is, it is so hard to deal with insurance companies. In this state right here, I got to tell you, that exchange is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's horrible. The Colorado Exchange for Health, or whatever it's called, is horrible. Their website never works. The renewals never work. It's all crap. In my opinion, it is absolute crap. I'd rather deal with almost anything. I'd rather deal with a homeless guy that doesn't speak English, that hasn't eaten for 6 months, and try to get health care from him, because that's how it feels when I deal with these guys. And we have that nice lady in occasionally who works there, but, you know, each year somebody cancels, you got to find somebody else. It's just nonstop. It's absolute nonstop, and I'm not saying it's all their problems. Some of it they were forced into, but I got to tell you, health insurance companies suck in general, all of them. I can't stand Kaiser. I used to talk very well about Kaiser, and I got to say, I like my doctors, I like the care. I like the care part, but dealing on the backside is just insanity. You just pull your hair out every time. 303-713-8255. Casey's got a question. Casey, what is your question?
Hi, Tom. I listen to your show all the time. You guys are awesome, and I've learned so much from you guys. My question is, I paid my rent. I recently set up a trust to pay monthly bills, and I came back July 3rd, found an email saying I had to pay my rent by July 3rd at midnight, and I went into the online payment with the complex and paid it, not realizing that I had paid it out of the wrong account. I called the manager first thing this morning, and he says there's nothing he can do about that. I wanted to
can you transfer the money into the other account so the draft is made?
I don't think I can.
Well, I mean,
I can check into that.
That's what I would do, because, I mean, technically, I mean, if, whoever it is wants to be jerky about it, I mean, they can go after the late fee or whatever's in the contract or whatever's in the lease. I mean, Casey, it's all contractual.
Uh-huh.
But it's not their fault you paid them out of the wrong account. What you really need to do is just transfer the money into that account. Mark?
Yeah, I'd call your bank. Your bank should be able, if you have money available, you should be able to get into that account.
Is this more like, Casey, you don't have the money available and this was a stalling tactic? I'm just asking.
Not at all.
Okay.
I just didn't want the accounting going through that account, and I can go online and do it right away, but he said you'll incur late charges and void payment fees and all of this. So it cost me another $100. I just wanted to know what the renter's rights were. I've been a renter in Colorado all my life.
It's what's in the lease. There's no magical renter's rights. I mean, there's a few things where you could evict yourself and get out of the lease, but one of the things we hear all the time is, hey, we've got bed bugs and cockroaches and our toilet is overflowing and blah blah blah. I want my rent money back. I want him to do this. I want to force him to fix this. Well, you really can't force anybody to do anything. What you could do is get out of the lease. But a lot of times these people that want out of the lease, they don't have money for another place. So I mean, they're trapped. It's a horrible cycle, but it happens all the time. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, you could, if something's bad enough, you could do a constructive eviction. If the living conditions are untenable, you can't live there. But in your situation, I mean, if the rent's late, it's late. That is to say, the tenant's duty is to tender the rent in a timely manner.
Casey, it's all contractual. It's going to spell out late fees. It's going to spell out everything in that lease. You need to stick to it. Call your bank. Get that money transferred. All right, we've got a lot going on. We've got one line open, 303-713-8255. 303 Martino, Dave, Frank, everybody hold tight. My name's Mark Major. We're going to come back. We're going to dig into this, and I have another update after these messages.
Okay, hey, let me write down I-25. So it's gone. So contractor, just so you'll have all this. Probably should email you.
Is Al coming on?
Let me get their number.
So I want to move Lazera to that 1215.
Roofing, right, and restoration.
So what's your biggest, what's your average? A remodel, a basement, a kitchen?
I'm not sure if he's going to
Just that whole house?
What's that?
Yeah, we've been
I'm not
doing a
sure
lot of whole.
if you can do it on air.
What is a whole house? Like someone calls you,
So that's her.
and literally, are you gutting walls, or you just
her.
doing it?
This is her number there.
Basically,
That's
we're doing
the
the whole
street
thing.
where the
Some
house
of
is
them,
at. She
like
actually
the one we're on
inherited
right
it
now,
from
is
her
put an
grandmother. She
addition
doesn't
on
live
it
there.
and remodel the old
And this
part
is
of
the
it.
contractor's I-25 roofing, and that's
Will it
number
still look on the
his
exterior as a
Okay.
1950s home when you're done, or not?
It has the same matching brick that was on there. We did end up having to change completely the roof line and everything.
Where is it?
Over in Wheat Ridge.
We were down at kind of not really Bonnie Bray, but very close to there.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Washington Park? I think that's what it's called.
Park, yeah.
It's amazing, man. You'll see where they did these scrapes, and there could be a $2 million house on the corner. The next door to it, there's something that needs to be scraped. It's just so weird.
Yep.
Yeah, and those ones that need to be scraped, that piece of property is worth $500,000.
Yeah, it's purely that. Yeah.
It's purely that.
Yeah, people want to live close to downtown, boy, they pay for it, don't they?
They sure do.
Boulder redid the whole thing. I wish I still had that house. I sold it I moved out here in '08 when the market crashed. But I did that whole. I know what it's time consuming. It was kind of interesting, project, but
it takes forever.
It was it was a long thing. The whole.
Oh, it takes me forever to do my own stuff. I know how to do it. It's just doing work and then going home and working some more. And you just never get enough time.
Is there a county that's better or worse to work in?
Denver.
Is Denver the?
Denver is one of the hardest ones to deal with.
That's where we get the most work calls, but yeah.
Because, like, say, permitting and stuff, right? Or because that's got to hold you guys up all the time.
Yeah,
right?
inspections and everything.
Yeah, that's like after inspections and stuff after the permit.
Yeah.
Well,
they'll turn you away. They just automatically turn you away before they really even look at your paperwork. Like, we always expect when we're going in for Denver that we're going to be in there.
First time or two, I would look at it, they'll just turn and say something's missing. We've had them change their, well, we got that. Well, no, you need this now.
We were doing
it's like, why can't you just give
on
me
a client's house, and they wanted us to get,
it's redo an existing deck, the same size, same configuration, everything else. By the time we were done with it, we had 2 weeks down at the city hall, and I had 9 pages of drawings, like you see
and we had to fight with them. They wanted elevations of the neighbors' houses.
Yeah.
Of the neighbors' houses, and we're like, isn't that a violation of privacy? Like,
so we want to see if the deck is going to look down into there.
I guess, or something, but we're like,
but it's been there forever. That's when we're doing the whole house remodel, and that was the first step, was to redo that.
So these are ones.
Do we have that? Do we have that audio, Suzanne? I'd love that audio to play.
It's exterior, it's a deck. So, I mean, they'll obviously, if somebody's driving by,
there's that lady that said I'd give her $1,300.
A lot of our clients like to have permits, and
I like it for, it should be another set of eyes to make sure things are safe.
Absolutely. It's a good idea.
Help me if you can. Welcome to the show. My name's Mark Major. This is the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer your questions, take your complaints. Yeah, we try to make your life a little bit better. We get personally involved. Martino's been doing this 38-plus years, at least 38 in Denver, and over $100 million. Cash, merchandise, exchanges, refund, arguably $200 million in help directly from the Troubleshooter show. When Tom's not here, of course, we just keep going. We just don't stop. We don't stop helping. 303-713-8255. One line open in studio with me, Mark Kranak, attorney at law. By the way, any litigation you need, you got to call Mark up. If let's say you got a problem with one of your vendors or a customer or a collections issue, I mean, Mark, you pretty much do. Anything business to business, and even sometimes business to consumer. And we were talking about even you've gone bad faith after insurance companies.
Insurance companies, general business litigation, small business to small business. Yes.
So you pretty much run the gambit. Any questions you have for Mark, feel free to call in, 303-713-8255. Suzanne, this Patty on line 6, I got to tell everybody about this.
Yes, you do.
Then I'm going to go to her. Do we have that audio that you had me listen to?
We're trying, Mark, but we're put on the spot back here. Hang on.
All right. I'm trying to find this audio. Back in December, I think it was December. In fact, I'll talk to Patty real quick. Hey, Patty, while they're trying to pull that audio, you called in December and talked to me, and you were trying. I listened to the audio. I'm trying to pull it up, by the way, Patty. But,
okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So you talked to me, and you fell on some hard luck in numerous different ways. I don't remember exactly what, but you were under the impression, and after listening to the audio, we're close, but that I said I would help you out with a deposit for rental if everything checked out.
Yes, sir.
All right, so hold tight. We're trying to get that audio up because there's a few things going on here. A, let me ask you, I'm going to ask you something right off the bat because I listened to this audio last week. One of the things we talked about is you actually had a job. Do you have the same job you had there when I look at your work history?
No, I actually had a mortgage job. I was previously in the mortgage industry before I started taking care of my son full-time.
During that call, do you realize during that call, one of my main concerns was how many different jobs you have had?
No.
Okay, hold tight. Let's get that audio up.
Okay.
But we'll talk. Hold on. I'm not.
Thank you.
What scares me is I put the deposit up, and you can't make rent. Where is the place, by the way?
It's in Aurora.
Okay, and how much is it a month?
$12.50.
$12.50 a month. We're going to go over your finances and stuff, but Suzanne, I'd really like everybody to hear what I said, because she's making the allegation, and there's a little bit of truth to it, but she's leaving out a lot. She's basically saying, hey, you said you'd give me $1,350. Well, there was a lot of caveats to that. But if everything does check out, let's help her out. I don't have a problem doing that, but things have to check out. She's got to have a job. She's got to have some kind of history. And more importantly, she's got to be able to show me the income to pay the bill, because what happens if she doesn't pay it? There goes my security deposit. 303-713-8255. Joe, what is your question, sir?
Hey, Mark. Just have a question regarding, or getting an understanding of, at what point does warranty work become unsatisfactory and give me another option?
Well, give me an idea. Like, in other words, I'm just going to guess something here. You had something done on your car. What was it? What did you have done?
I had a water pump replaced.
So you've had problems with the water pump, and you've brought it back numerous times, and now you're fed up. Is that where you're going?
Well, this is my second time bringing it back.
Second time.
And I'm willing to, give them one more shot at it. But if it has a problem again while it's still under warranty, am I...
Joe, here's the problem. Here's the problem with cars, and I was in that business forever, okay? You're staging this as a warranty, and I don't know if it is or not. So let's say the water pump was leaking, the radiator was leaking, a hose was leaking, and basically what you're dealing with now is something else leaking. I don't know. How do you know, like, can you actually see it still leaking out of the water pump, or could it be a different leak? A lot of times when you close up one leak, the pressure in the system gets higher, and there's other leaks.
I assume it's the same leak. I took it to the dealership to get some work done. They brought up the problem, and so I'm assuming it's the same issue that either reoccurred or didn't get fixed correctly in the first place.
And that's where I was going. So it's hard to say. If it's the same, I'm going to answer your question. One, there's really no amount of time. It's basically going to come down to what a judge thinks is reasonable. Let's say it's an alternator, and you buy it, and the part was faulty because they bought a cheap rebuild alternator or something, and it happened 2 or 3 times. You could probably argue, and you got to stop that. You could probably argue and convince a judge, my God, I've given him 3 chances, and you might win. I don't know what that line is. Mark Kranak, there's really no line of how many shots or opportunities you got to give unless if it's spelled out in some kind of agreement, like saying you have to go to arbitration, you have to do this, you have to give us 5 chances. I mean, if it's not spelled out, it's going to come down to what a judge thinks is reasonable. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if the contract says, they have to fix the thing, I mean, they have to fix it. And, and if they don't do it within a reasonable amount of time, then you have a claim for breach of contract.
Then you have a claim for breach of contract. But here's where I was going, Joe. It's hard to say. Now, let's say they did, the water pump was leaking because it was seeping out the seep hole. It was leaking. Now you see more antifreeze on the ground, but let's say it's a different leak. Do you think they should repair that for free?
No, if it's a different problem, I don't have an issue with that.
It seems like you lost confidence in the company as well. What happened? Is it simply because you left it there, now you're dealing with the same problem, it's just frustrating, or was there more to it?
No, I think it's the same problem reoccurring that's a little frustrating. It's a brake shop that maybe I've asked them to go a little bit beyond their capabilities.
That happens. That happens. You kind of, yep, that definitely happens. Who is it? What's the shop?
Brakes Plus. And otherwise, I don't have any complaints about them.
They're not bad. I got to tell you, I can't think of the guy's name, but I met him and his kid. They grew very quick. You know what? We just don't get many complaints about them. And for most things, if it's a radiator water pump, I guarantee they got techs that can do this stuff. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just
their corporate office.
A couple of times, and
I bring it back one more time, see what's going on. Then, if you have any concerns, call their corporate office or stop by. They used to be over about Arapahoe and 25. And I think they pretty much have an open-door policy where they'll talk to you. I mean, really, we don't get complaints, and I think they're good people.
And, and I'm really not complaining yet. I'm just sort of trying to make sure I got my ducks in a row. So
to answer your original question, I'd say what I would give them, I'd give them, if it's a warranty issue, they just can't get it right, I'd probably give them 2 tries.
I mean, I think one has to be done. Two is like, yeah, I still think it has to be done, and then from there it just comes down to, you know, how, geez, at some point they're going to want to cut you loose too if you can't fix it, you know?
Sure.
All right, thank you, sir. 303-713-8255. Mark, any thoughts on that? I mean, we get that question a lot. You know, I don't want to bring it back to them. Well, I mean, if it's a warranty issue, you can't just ask for a refund off the bat.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like you run into it with a lot of these consumer construction contracts, the length of time within which the contract has to be performed. How long is it going to take you to do it? As a contract law issue, that could be a negotiable term that you can incorporate in there and say, you're going to do this by such and so forth a date, or you're in breach of contract. But most people don't do that. You know, you've heard horror stories with auto repair shops. Take the car in there, leave it there, and they rip stuff out of the car, and it sits there for like, you know, days turn into weeks.
Oh, we've had calls on it. I mean, they basically take the car.
They basically.
We snagged the car back for a lady. The guy, remember that, Dan? I went out and literally repoed the car live on the show. He had the car for what, a year? We found out through a, let's just say, a friend of the show in law enforcement where that car happened to be. He was stashing it basically in front of his house. And we went and we literally just snagged the car.
Yeah, and so it comes down to basically if there's no time of performance provision in the contract, they have to perform the contract within a reasonable amount of time, which depends on, you know, what's going on. Reasonable, you know, that's ultimately what's called a fact issue. It'd be up to a jury to decide if you had to take them all the way to trial on that.
Are we having any luck finding that audio from December? I'd love to hear it.
Well, yes, but we might have to play it from my phone because we don't have the time to record the whole podcast.
Let's do it. Here's what I want to do. Let me get her back up. Patty, do me a favor. I need you to email. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I need you to email me over where you're working, contact information there, how much pay is coming into the house. I want to see some pay stubs for real.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to pick this up tomorrow, okay, because Suzanne's got to get her ducks in a row so people can hear what we discussed, all right?
I will get that over to you tonight.
All right, sounds good. Suzanne, give her my email or yours, whatever we're doing.
And I'll work on getting my ducks in a row.
Thank you. Get your ducks in a row. I think I'm a duck when it comes to her saying that. Hey, Steve with Christie's Design, Build and Remodeling. If I want my bathroom done, how far out are you right now, start to finish?
Probably about from start to finish.
Start to finish.
The
they call today and say, hey, I want to bid on the bathroom. Start to finish, assuming they go with your bid. I assume you guys go out, you do free bids, of course.
Yeah, we do go out and do consulting.
Let's say a
project.
Let's say a full kitchen.
A full kitchen. Generally, you're looking at 4 weeks to order the cabinets. You want a couple of weeks for design time, and then depending on what you're doing in the kitchen, you could be 2 weeks to 2 months, depending on the size of the kitchen and what you're doing.
So, but you would have it done within 2 months? Is that safe to say?
Most generally, yeah.
Okay.
And actually, we actually have a date on ours, how many days from time we start demo to the time we finish in our contracts.
With our projects, you get to see the schedule built through our online management system, so that way you can see who's coming over to your house that day and when they're coming over.
That's kind of cool.
You know, so it's a really awesome system and how we handle it. But
so you guys keep up with the customer during the entire process. They're not just, it's not the last minute you guys are saying, hey, Steve the framer's going to be out there today.
No.
They know what's going on.
Yeah. We
how do you guys take payments? I mean, I know you don't get everything up front. How do you generally take payments? You take a portion down when you go out and do the design work, then a portion down like when the cabinets show up, then I mean, do you go with the flow till the end?
Yeah.
Well, we actually have a planning and budgeting agreement that's 4% earnest money, basically. So you get, when you move forward with the build-out agreement, that
so 4%.
It gets credited back. So basically, whatever the bid final comes out to be, and you take off that 4% of what the cost of the planning and budgeting agreement is.
That's pretty cool.
But the payments work off of what you're getting, what's getting accomplished.
Gotcha.
In there. It's not set to a time frame. And I learned that from listening to Tom Martino, some lady calling and saying, I paid every week for 6 weeks, but they hadn't got nothing done. And it's like,
yeah,
why'd you keep paying?
Yeah, exactly. Why? And we hear that a lot. Like that lady that was taking I got to pull up her name. We had so many bad contractors last week.
Jessica?
Yeah, well, no, I wasn't thinking of Jessica. I was thinking of the Air Force lady, Linda. You know, she let almost 44,000 slip out of her grasp. And before she realized she was getting the okey doke put on her.
And that's on we have a web-based management program that controls the schedule.
So you
watch your budgets, your selections are on there. Everything that happens on that job is on that.
I kind of like how you guys do that. By the way, you guys want to talk to them, 303-833-4715. That's, you can always find Christie's Design, Build and Remodeling on our referral list, referrallist.com, or call them direct, 303-833-4715. You guys have been on the referral list a long time.
Over 10 years.
Yeah, I thought you had a badge up there. You guys have been on a long time. I do not see Al up there, so I'll give you a second to get him up.
Well, Mark, he's not answering, so I put a special up.
Ooh. Did you make that special up? He might be mad. That's really cheap.
No, he texted me that special.
Well, let's say I did a special for him one time and his phones blew up, and it was very similar to this one, and he wasn't too happy. I mean, he was fine after the fact, but when Al does a deal, and it's a screaming deal, I got to tell you, Pro Auto Care, they do a great job. Al's owned these shops for a long time, and on top of that, he's also, you know, a certified technician. And I think he's a master tech. He worked for dealerships forever. So not only does this guy run the show and he's going to take care of you as a customer, they've got the longevity down there. They're great people at Pro Auto Care. But if he's got to get involved, he can also troubleshoot and do everything. And they do everything down there. One of the ways they introduce you to a shop, and I used to do this when I have the shop, is they'd give you basically what I call a loss leader. And Al does them for everybody, but this gives you an opportunity to get down there, get something done like an oil change that everybody needs done, or a tire rotation, and he's going to give you a price that you couldn't go out and buy the parts for. You ready? $19.95. Lube oil filter. They use the great oil down there. It's that semi-synthetic by Kendall. He's also going to rotate the tires. If you have any issues, he'll check them out for you too as well. But you're going to love these guys, and this is the hope for when you do need tires, you do need brakes, you do need problems solved. These guys will be there. It's their way of reaching out to you. But it's Al Aramis. It's Pro Auto Care. $19.95 lube oil filter with tire rotation. Call and schedule it right now at either shop. Ready for the number? 303-PRO-AUTO. It gets no easier than that. Write it down, 303-PRO-AUTO, 303-PRO-AUTO, or check it out, Al's a genius, 303proauto.com.
This report is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
If you got to travel up in the high country,
Lazera.
Alyssa, my board op wanted me to just ask you, when you're talking, if you move and look this way when you're talking, it doesn't pick you up as well. So be sure you're talking directly into it, okay? Okay.
There's no ducks behind you.
You're in a row somewhere else.
It's like a chaos of ducks behind you.
You're going to hear about that one. Do you need anything else from Patty besides proof of income? Because I'm just going to have her send everything at once for that deposit.
Proof of income, everything from there, any other income she has. Because if it's $1,250 and she's only bringing in, you know, $2,500 a month, it's going to be a no-go right off the bat. So I got to see all income.
All income and anything else you want from information?
Employment history. I want her last 2 or 3. I mean, my biggest problem with her listening to that conversation
I think
is she has a new
takes care
job.
of her disabled child in home. You
Does
know,
she
like
get
my
paid
aunt
for that
does.
too?
That's what my aunt does for my disabled cousin. Then she gets paid as a home health care provider. That is her job.
And I want the info on the last place she lived.
Okay.
I want to know what kind of shape she left it in. Every time I get directly involved with someone that needs money, like this circumstance, I get burned. Every single time. Not one time haven't I got burned. I even got one woman, her kid was a junior, and he was a hell of a football player. Her name was Shauna. This kid was a hell of a football player. I had a recruiter from a small college in Nebraska come out, offered him a full ride at a small college. I found her a place to live. I get a call. It was incredible. I get a call from the lady that basically rented the basement out to her. full-done basement, had its own kitchen, bathroom, a whole bit. Well, she was running a fucking prostitution ring out of there within a month.
Guess who's back on the horn? That John guy.
Can you believe it? A prostitution ring. I felt like the biggest schmuck in the world. Shauna.
It's true. It's true. No good deed.
We also got her a big Thanksgiving dinner someone did. I got to tell you, listen, I hope you weren't stupid over this last weekend. And if you were, you know I'm talking to you. Did you get pulled over for DUI? I know a lot of people did, and I got to tell you, whether you made a mistake, or you were falsely accused, you got to have good legal representation. Joseph A. Lazaire is the guy to call. And I hope you didn't get a DUI over the weekend and just get bailed out today.
But I got to tell you, if you're in that boat, or maybe your spouse, your kid, anything like that, the other thing he does a lot of is DUIs with marijuana. This guy knows how to go into court and represent his clients and get the absolute best outcome possible. He's the best out there. If you're in criminal trouble, call Joseph A. Lazaire. It's one of these numbers. Write down, put it in your purse, put it in your wallet. You never know when you're going to need it. And Joe would never encourage you to drink and drive. But once again, if you found yourself in that spot, regardless of the circumstance, you got to have the best representation. 303-429-6200, 303-429-6200, and you can always find them at referralist.com.
Congratulations to Sean Hannity, the newest inductee into the National Radio.
Oh, man, I'm reading an email from a good friend of mine and referral list member, friend of the show, Jay Bretz. And I'm going to have him on soon. Maybe we do it tomorrow, but I got to tell you this. Suzanne, do you remember, and Dan, I'm sure you will, the brothers that called up, and they weren't all there. I forget what their disability was. We're going back about a month, but they were not there. I think their folks died. Dan, do you remember really how the story went?
Right. His mom died, and they left him in the house. I think she died like 4 years ago. And they hadn't, they dropped insurance on the house.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Then they had all this damage, and they didn't even realize they didn't have insurance. Hopefully Jay's helping them with that in the future, too, or they can call up Compass. But, yeah, so they had all this damage. The house was about to be ruined. I mean, water was coming in. Well, I got to tell you, I'm staring at a picture Jay Bretz that Excel just sent me. You realize this guy went down there and put a roof on for free? Excel Roofing. When we talk about people on our referrals, listen to what I'm saying. He went down there to help these two brothers that lost their mother. Didn't realize they had to have insurance. They were definitely, I don't know what level they were on, but simply guessing, between maybe a 12-year-old, I mean, Dan, would you say that's probably about right?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I mean, they need help on a lot of stuff they do. I'm sure they can live on their own, long as they, somewhat stay out of trouble, but they didn't even realize you're supposed to have insurance. They didn't understand any of this. But, Jay, thank you, Excel Roofing, and I'll give him a plug because, man, does he deserve it. I'm looking at this. They still need a little bit of HVAC work, which, of course, Jay doesn't do, but they're not leaking anymore. The roof looks great, brand new shingles. They repaired some decking. They did whatever it took. They handled it. They didn't charge these brothers a dime. Just absolutely great people at Excel Roofing. I mean, thank you again, Jay, honestly. So when you think of referral list members, oh, by the way, I love his motto. Do you remember his motto, Jay's? It's my favorite. Don't pay a cent until you're content.
Right, I got it up.
I love it. Now, not every company can do that, but I got to tell you, I love that motto. Don't pay a cent until you're content. That's Excel Roofing. Put up his number so I can give that out, Suzanne. And let's see here, 303-713-8255. I do have one line open. Frank, what's going on with you, man?
Who?
Frank,
oh,
you.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hey, let me tell you what happened to me. I'm a senior, and this guy knocked on my door a couple of weeks ago, and I opened the door, and he says, "How's your roof?" I said, "Hell, I don't know. I'm 74 years old." He said, "Can I come in?" I let him in. We sat down. He said, "Well, the only time I can get on that roof, sign these papers, and I can go on the roof and look."
Did you sign them, Frank?
I'm so damn old I can't even read the damn thing, so I signed them.
Well, okay, now hold on, Frank. You might be old, but you weren't born yesterday. In fact, you were born a hell of a long time ago. So let me ask you this. If you couldn't read them, why'd you sign them?
Well, he told me it was just to give him permission to climb the roof.
You sound like an ornery old coot.
So anyhow, I signed him. He thanked you. He went on the roof, looked around. I told him I have another house in the back if you want to look. He looked, and he came down. He said, I'm going to get them both replaced. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything.
Yeah.
I told, well, I haven't made up my mind who I'm going to use because another guy came by a couple days earlier. So anyhow...
But, Frank, I'm assuming you signed a contract with this guy and he's not letting you out of it. Was this an insurance claim, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, so is that it? This guy's not letting you out?
That's right. And he's going to put a lien on my house and charge me $6,000 to file this lien.
Who is it?
ASAP.
ASAP Roofing?
We've heard of them, Mark.
That's not good, the way you just said that. What do we remember about them?
Nothing right this second. I'm going to look through my information and see what I have, but I know we've heard of them.
I think so, too.
Well, I was going to contact a lawyer today.
Well, my God, well, hold on a second, Frank. I mean, that's fine. You can contact him, but let's look at the reality of it. The reality of it is you signed the contract.
Yep, you're right.
Did you cancel within 3 days, or was it past 3 days?
The guy that came over to climb on the roof, he came back a couple of days later. He said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I haven't made up my mind. I'm not going to use nobody right now. He said, well, let me tell you something about ASAP. He said, I quit him because they were telling me to climb on roofs, and whether they needed it or not, they need it.
You got this guy's information that's ratting him out?
Yeah, I got his phone number and his name.
I'm curious about something. Hold tight. I'd like to see if he'd come on and actually say that as well about this ASAP. Did they ever deliver? When did you cancel? You didn't ask that. Let's get back to that. When did you cancel?
Probably, maybe when he came about 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3.
Okay, did they deliver anything out to your place?
Nothing.
Nothing has been delivered. I wonder if they're going to claim anything was ordered. Suzanne, let's reach out. Actually, Deputy Dan, you got something? Did you already talk to him?
No. I wanted to tell you, I did find, we got a call about them last year from a lady named Mary. She was unhappy with the quality of the roof that was put on by ASAP Roofing. I'm not sure how it panned out, Mark, but it says in my notes materials used different than what was promised.
Oh, so who knows? I mean, that's
exactly what this guy told me. They're not using the right shingles for the roof.
All right, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. I don't think I'd want Frank upset with me. Here's what we got to do, though. Deputy Dan, call out, and then after the break, hopefully we got something from ASAP. But I say this all the time. Why wouldn't you let someone out of the contract? I mean, do they need work so bad they want to hold a 72-year-old man's feet to the fire? Now, if they went out and they did stuff besides tricking him on getting up onto the roof, according to him, that's a whole different story. If they've already ordered stuff that they can't return, if they've already ripped part of the roof off, which isn't the case, if there's another side to the story, I'd love to hear it. But businesses out there, why wouldn't you let someone out? I'm going to ask our guest real quick in studio, Steve, with Christie's Design, Build and Remodeling on referralist.com. You guys do everything. Full basements, additions, you name it, you guys do it. If you go out there and you look at it and they sign a contract, and let's say the 3 days goes by, they're 3-day right because you sold them the upgrade in their house, signed the contract, okay? Let's say that goes by.
Okay.
You didn't order any cabinets yet. You didn't do anything. All you did was go out and have your designer, whoever that is, I believe it's your daughter right here, right? Alyssa. Yep. So Alyssa goes out and does her part, and they sign a contract, and 4 days later, they determine they don't want it. For whatever reason, they don't want it, and they're hell-bent on getting out of that contract. You going to fight them on it?
Not if we haven't done any work on it.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. But here's a roofing company, and it's not just ASAP, and I'm assuming they're did. I'm listening to Frank. But here's a roofing company that is creating just a heartache for themselves. No matter what they do, this guy's never going to be happy at this point. Never going to be happy.
Absolutely, but I wonder if he hasn't been listening to Tom very long, because Tom's been saying don't sign that forever.
38 years.
Yeah.
So Deputy Dan, go call these guys. Let's see what's going on with them at ASAP. Just see if they'll let them out. And if they won't, ask them why. Okay? I'm not saying legally they have to let him out, but they're just, why? Why hold a 72-year-old man that feels like he got tricked by your company? Whether he did or not, I don't know. And then the other thing I'd like to do, if they don't want to let him out, I want you to track down this guy that did work for him, and let's get to Skinny on ASAP Roofing from a former employee. Usually that's the best place to start digging. I mean, usually that is the best place to start digging. All right, Mr. Kevin, who would you like me to do, sir? Flexident. I love these guys. In fact, if you've been hit by hail and your car is messed up, there's a couple ways you can go about it. One, you can go a traditional body shop, but I got to tell you, it's not going to look nearly as good as what Flexident looks like. Flexident is going to do an absolutely wonderful job on your car. And a lot of times, if you mention the Martino show, mention the Troubleshooter show, I would ask for $500 off. Just ask them. Just simply say, hey, I heard you on the Troubleshooter show, and guess what that $500 could go towards? It could go towards pretty much whatever you want it to go towards. It could go towards a rental car while they're fixing it. It could go towards your deductible. It could go towards really whatever you want it to go. And the best way, once again, to get a hail fixed on a car is Flexident. In fact, I was hoping to get him on today. Hold on a second. Flexident. But the bottom line is give him a call. It's simple as that. And you can reach him at 303-582-5770. 303-582-5770. That's Flexident. Check him out on our referral list at referrallist.com. And I'm telling you, if you're going to use a good body shop, use one we approve, use one that signed our code of ethics, and use one that does unbelievably good work. Flexident, 303-582-5770.
This report is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
For the most part, travel around the metro area in fairly decent shape. Watch out for a stall being cleared along westbound I.
Google number. I was telling them to pull the number up.
Is that it right there on the paper?
Oh, I didn't see it. No, it's a different one. I'm sure they use that for tracking for us. So I just probably gave out their Google number.
Okay, I'll try to call.
What's that?
Still on there. So we should look at the contract first to see if it's even a valid contract, huh? They probably do have a valid contract.
I would assume it's a valid contract. Just see what they have to say about it. It drives me crazy, though, when people don't let them out. Who's next?
Severe storm season is here. Actually, I'd really not fight about it.
I didn't hear who you said, though.
Yeah, bad clients, bad customers can be environmental.
Yeah, I spent 18 years trying to figure out which one.
That should be under stem cell. That should be under stem cell. And it still drives me nuts.
For must-know retirement strategies and the calls to act. Tune into America's Wealth Management Show this Saturday at noon on 630 KM. Visit lifecertain.com to discover the necessary financial planning for retirement.
You know, Tom's back used to bother him. I mean, all the time. I'd hear him in the morning, oh, my back, I'm back. And I'm only talking, 6-7 months ago and further back. You know what he's been doing, and it's absolutely amazing, and I promise you it works. And you can check it out for 100% for free. But stem cell therapy. They give him shots in his back, and I got to tell you, he's like a child now, and he just doesn't complain about it anymore. It actually works. I thought at first, I don't know anything about this. I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent. Tom said, before I do ads for you, before we do anything, I want to make sure this stuff works. I want to see it. I got to tell you, he's had numerous shots over the past 3 months, and his back is wonderful. I don't hear him complaining in the morning anymore, and it's absolutely crazy, but it works on more than your back. It can work on your shoulder. It can work pretty much anywhere. He had some shots in his knees. He doesn't have knee problems right now, but they said it's going to be good for him as he gets older. So I got to tell you, here's how they work. I'm going to tell you about a must-attend stem cell therapy educational seminar. You call up, see when the next one is and which one's the closest to you, and you show up, you ask questions, you listen, you learn, and that's it. That's it. It's either going to be right for you or not. But I promise you this, if you give it a chance, it could change your life. 855, call right now. Call and see when that next educational seminar is. 855-262-4040. 855-262-4040. Stem Cell Institute of America. Check it out. Alrighty then. 303-713-8255. We do have a line open. Deputy Dan is reaching out to ASAP. Hopefully we will get something back from there on that roofing company. And for roofers out there, you know, just because it goes past that 3 days and you have a signed contract, sometimes you got to learn. You know, it's not worth the headache of keeping someone on forever. Gary wants to give kudos out to referral list member we just talked about, Flexident. Gary, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know, I went to Flexident, went to my insurance company, got my estimate, got everything set up, did the work. He had to get a supplement, took a couple of days. Joanne and Nick are very pleasant people to work with.
Yeah, they're cool.
And the time frame was really quick and simple.
Is it perfect?
I was very pleased with the work.
I cannot believe a good person that knows PDR, paintless dent repair, and Nick, the owner, does for sure, but his guys do too. But it's amazing to me how they do that. I just, it's so tedious, I can't imagine, but they use all these rods and massage it out, and I've seen some of their work before and after. You can't even tell. There is no reason you'd want traditional body work for hail. I mean, unless if it was so bad like the paint's cracking and stuff, but Gary, I'm sure they appreciate that, and because he called, I'll go ahead and give their number out one more time. 303, use this one, 303-619-6273. And what I really liked about what he said is how quick it was. 303-619-6273. Dave, you've been holding a while. What's going on?
This is a question for your attorney.
Go ahead.
I had rotator cuff surgery back in March, and I work for UPS at the airport. I went out on short-term disability. I applied for it before I went out, and I've done it before, no problems. They denied my claim, which didn't cut, so the surgery wasn't covered. I've been in and out of the hospital. I just got out yesterday after 49 seizures. And
what's your question for Mark, Dave?
Okay, Mark. How do I get Blue Cross Team Care Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is what the union negotiated for the UPS employees? How do I get them to pay all these medical bills, which are approaching $300,000?
So wait a second, though. Dave, you got hurt on the job?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay, so you weren't on the job, but your coverage is Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Team Care Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And why aren't they paying it, though? Why are they denying it?
They said I didn't have all the information, so I sent them all the information, and they still denied it.
And what did they deny it for that time?
They didn't say.
Well, okay, Mark, when an insurance company denies you, whether health or anybody else, I mean, they got to tell you a reason, and if they don't, can't you simply tell them, well, hey, show me in the policy why you don't cover that?
Yeah, I mean, normally they'll provide you with an explanation. I mean, you know, it gets back to a pretty sort of simple issue. I mean, you have the policy. It either covers the health care treatment that you received or it doesn't. And, you know, if it doesn't, then you have a legal recourse.
Dave, help us out. Why do you think, if you had to guess why they're not covering it, why?
I talked to them yesterday. They said that the doctor notes had not been faxed over. I have a copy of it. I have a receipt showing that they received the doctor notes. They said that they were going to call the doctor's office yesterday and have the doctor notes faxed over again.
Okay.
So I'm going to give them a little more time, but in the meantime, I've been paying as much on the medical bills as I can and slipping the mortgage, and I have to do a Chapter 13 to protect $300,000 in equity in my house.
Well, I don't know if a Chapter 13 is going to protect all that equity. Are you married?
My attorney said it will.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I mean, Mark, I don't know. What advice do you have there? I don't know why they're not covering it. I mean, that's what you got to figure out.
I don't either.
Well, I mean, that's what you got to figure out, though. Maybe he does need to hire an attorney.
Yeah.
If they honest to God won't tell him why.
Yeah, I mean, it's without having the policy, seeing the communications between two. It's hard to ferret this out, on the air like this. But the bottom line is they either should be covering this stuff or not. But it's not unusual for insurance companies to demand documents, request documents, and the general rule on that is you should really bend over backwards to provide the insurance company with whatever it is that they're asking
for.
Well,
of course. Hey, Dave, why did you mention you worked for UPS at the airport?
The reason I mention that is the union that...
that's what they negotiated, was that health care?
That's what was negotiated on behalf of the union.
You just got to find out why they're not covering it. I mean, that's it. And if they're supposed to cover it, well, then they're going to end up covering it. I mean, it's...
Yeah, and if your bankruptcy revolves around this issue exclusively, that is, you're contemplating filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy exclusively because of the medical debt, but it's still in play, it sounds like. They're telling you, well, we got to get this stuff and that stuff, and they haven't made a decision what they're going to cover. I mean, obviously, I would hold off on bankruptcy at this point and wait and see how this claim is adjusted.
How much does it... Hold on a second, Dave.
On the 13th.
What do you have on the 13th?
Or 12th.
What?
The drop-dead date.
I'm going to get his info and reach out to some folks for him, Mark.
Who?
I think we might have an angel there. I can't say for sure, but between them and Integra Insurance, maybe we can at least get some answers.
I can't imagine.
Just answers.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they deny him for no reason. It doesn't even make sense.
One more thing.
Yes.
I need help with Part D prescription drug coverage.
Well, I mean, you can talk to John on that over at Integra. I mean.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hold on, man. That sounds like a horrible situation. Mark, you can't just... Can an insurance... Well, I guess actually an insurance company could just say, hey, we're not going to tell you, we're just going to decline it.
Yeah, I suppose they could.
Seems like they're asking for trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're adjusting the claim, though, based upon what he said, and it's kind of in play. They're just asking for more documents. Normally, though, I mean, the healthcare provider generally... they have whole departments that deal with that stuff and are providing that information to the insurance company. So it sounds like it's a little wacky that the patient is directly insured. The patient is directly involved in providing medical documents.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to wonder whoever his union picked out too. They must have a rep that he could deal through his union as well. Well, Suzanne's talking to him offline. Now, Deputy Dan, did you, by the way, 303-713-8255, 303 Martino, we do have a couple lines open. Deputy Dan, did we hear from ASAP Roofing? Did you call over there?
I called over there, and it's just a voicemail and stuff, so
generic.
left a message.
What do you mean generic?
Very generic. Doesn't even say their company.
Are you
get that
serious?
once in a while, Mark?
I mean, is that the actual number, or is that just a number the old guy
Number
had?
on their website.
Oh, man. I hope they got to let this poor guy out. He doesn't want to get it done. Why are they forcing him to it? It's the dumbest thing people can do.
I IM'd you a news story that was done on them.
Oh, I can't wait.
Because they didn't put a tarp on a woman's house in the middle of roofing or something, and then it rained and caused a bunch of mess in her house.
So they sound like they don't even know how to do their job either, according to this story. And then we had that other woman that called up a while back saying they did the wrong material. Oh, my God, look at this. This was in Littleton. Are you sure this is them? See, this is kind of weird, though. And here's what I mean by this. I mean, in this case, it looks like it was their fault. But, Mark, if I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm doing your roof, and I've got everything torn out, and a hailstorm comes blowing through real quick. It just forms real quick. I tarp up the roof, but there's 120-mile-an-hour winds, and it rips the tarp right off, and then there's even more damage. It's not necessarily that roofer's issue each time. It's another act of God. Now, if they didn't tarp it up and they knew the weather was going to be that way, I mean, there's an argument to be made they didn't do the right thing. But if they did what would be normal or expected in that circumstance, and there was still 200-mile-an-hour wind, there's nothing they could have done, and it would be another claim.
No, I think so. Because you got tarps on there, the wind's blowing the tarps off, ruins the whole interior of the house. Yeah, I think then you definitely have another claim, I would think.
Yeah, it happens a lot. The other thing we get is we have consumers call up, and they'll say, hey, I called these guys for warranty work because they did my roof 6 months ago and some of the shingles blew off. Well, it turns out there was 100-mile-an-hour wind there. That's not a warranty issue. That's a 100-mile-an-hour wind issue. It's another claim, another act of God. People always think when they get a new roof, not always, but some people think that, you know, that warranty covers everything. Another act of God? Well, of course it doesn't. That's what insurance is for. All right, Rocky's Autos. These guys are great. In fact, I say this all the time, 63rd and Federal. You know, I'm going to give you the phone number. I'm going to give you the website, rockysautos.com. But I got to tell you, you drive down to 63rd and Federal and you check out their inventory. They got 40 lenders plus to choose from. If you got great credit, they'll get you a great interest rate. If your credit's not so good, they'll find the best lender for you. They got the best pricing out there. They'll give you a great value. They'll give you a better trade-in than most companies out there, and they're not these high-pressure people. They have got down the product, the price, and the process at Rocky's. They're great people, and they've got a lot of late-model cars. You got to check them out. They got everything. Trucks, vans, SUVs. I think you get it. And you also get a Carfax with every single car. Put them on the list! I can't say it enough. Go shop Colfax, shop everywhere else, but get down to 63rd and Federal. You're going to love what you see, and you're probably going to make a deal. 303-426-4646. Rocky's Autos, 303-426-4646, 63rd and Federal.
This report is brought to you by Mercy Corps.
It's another slow drive downtown on northbound I-25, stopping.
Oh, man, this time flew.
You
guys going out.
One of the fastest ones.
Yeah, the roofing stuff and the roofing claim, actually, this edition that we're on right
Who is
now. What's that?
Got it.
Oh, what?
Similar situation with this last hailstorm.
Yeah.
Think of what you guys, we're going to talk before the end of the show. Think of what you want to get across, you two. Deputy Dan?
Yeah. What I want to get across?
ASAP doesn't sound good to me.
No, like I say, I have never heard of business with such a
hold on, guys.
Designer, insurances, things like that.
.org.
All right, Paradigm Interiors. These guys are absolutely the best when it comes to flooring design. Listen, they do carpet. In fact, they sell the Shaw carpet that Suzanne and I have. It's a waterproof backing on the carpet. It's an incredible carpet. The warranty's unbelievable on it, but they have everything down there. They do tile, they do carpet, they do hardwood, they do laminates, they do everything. They've got a luxury vinyl laminate that's unbelievable. They call it LVT. Some of them, it's even waterproof. It's an incredible product, maybe for a mud room or any room in your house. Maybe you're doing the basement. Listen, these guys will come to you with their showroom, or you can go to their showroom. But they're great guys. Their pricing, they've got kind of a good, better, best model. If it's you know, an apartment that you're just renting out, or I'm sorry, a room or something you're renting out, you want, you know, lower grade stuff, they're going to have some stuff. And if you want the real luxury stuff, the best carpet, like that waterproof backing, I think they call it Life something carpet, but it's incredible. We haven't. We have dogs and cats, and I'd never switch out of that carpet. Call them, ask them about it. It's a great product. By the way, they're on Evans, just west of Santa Fe. Paradigm Interiors, 303-630-9204. Write it down, 303-630-9204. Once again, they have it if it's flooring.
Are you a homeowner who's tired of paying mortgage insurance? Hey, it's Ross Kaminsky from my friends at American Financing. If you own a home in this super hot Denver market, you've got to hear about enough.
Important is they hire someone from the referral list so that they have someone back.
So you guys are going to give 90% off?
Screaming deal?
We'll mark it up 100%, and then we'll give you 90% off.
You hear some screaming over here.
You hear my wife screaming all
Hold on.
Chances are American Financing can. They've already helped thousands of customers, so why why not save? There is no upfront fees, and you may even be able to lock in a lower interest rate. So start saving as much as $1,000 a month, and you might be able to close in as fast as 10 days. Call now, 303-695-7000,
or online at AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, regulated by the Division of Real Estate.
All right, listen, Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center, it's Dr. Patty and Dr. Lisa. You know, I hear Tommy's going through this new tinnitus treatment. It's incredible. It pretty much gets rid of tinnitus. Now, it depends on what kind of tinnitus you have, but I got to tell you, I hear it in Tom's ear all the time, tick, 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 and it trains him, and then he doesn't hear it. I mean, you know, I'm a layman, I don't have tinnitus, but that's how it works. The other thing these guys do is hearing aids, testing and diagnostics. They do pretty much anything to do with hearing. They do a comprehensive hearing evaluation. They have some of the newest and coolest hearing aids out there. If it's time for an upgrade or if you're suffering from tinnitus, call direct. Ask for Dr. Patty or Dr. Lisa. These guys are absolutely wonderful. Their website is helpforringing.com. But the bottom line is, if you're sick of tinnitus and you hear it, you've been treated before, you think it's something you're going to have to live with, you got to call them and see if the new treatment is right for you. 303-534-0163, 303-534-0163, or check them out at helpforringing.com.
I think it is essential for your security and your family's security that we vet anybody coming from anywhere into this country.
Hannity, later today at 1 on Denver's Talk Station, 630 KHAL.
All right, folks, 303-713-8255. Man, we have a lot going on. We're going to be doing some calls after the show. We never stop here. Deputy Dan, we're going to keep trying to get to ASAP. We're going to send Richmond Homes the 3 different warranty issues we've had in the past 2 weeks, which is, man, that's a lot of issues for Richmond Homes. We usually, I mean, we'll go 6 months without having any. I wonder what's going on. Maybe some upper management or local management's been replaced under the warranty department. I don't know. But let's reach out and hopefully we can get someone from Richmond Homes to figure out why we're getting all these calls. And then Jessica, who paid Vincent Torres of I-25 Roofing and Restoration $2,400 out of pocket, an insurance company another $2,000. He, Mark, brought her small claims action up to district court. I'm going to get you with her, and then you're going to give us an update, you know, after you talk to her, and let's see where this thing stands.
Sounds good.
And then anybody out there that needs an attorney, give me some of the stuff you do, Mark. I mean, your biggest thing is, like I said, this business to business. Just tell me really what you do for people.
Yeah, so like business-to-business litigation is, you know, you have a small business and you have a problem with a customer or a vendor or another business, some kind of legal problem.
Insurance companies?
Insurance companies could be involved in it. I know, you know, all about that insurance law. So I've done that as, you know, I've done criminal for years, but the business-to-business thing,
it's your niche.
Yeah, it's a niche, and you know, a lot of it might spring from contract law stuff. But there could be other things going on. There could be fraud. There could be what are called uniform commercial code claims. Basically disputes that you're having with other businesses, customers, vendors.
Yep. And if you want to reach Mark, it's real simple. You can find him on the referral list, of course, or write the number down. You never know when you're going to need him. 303-999-3900. 303-999-3900. And then Alyssa and Steve Christie with Christie's Design, Build, and Remodeling. What message do you want to get out for people? You already said you could do a lot of these remodels now. You know, not a whole house, but like a kitchen or bathroom. Generally, you got a 2-month window right now, approximately?
Approximately.
Okay.
And on the size scope.
And then how does it work with you guys? You send someone out that, you know, basically talks to the person, and they say, here's a bathroom, here's kind of what I'm thinking. How does the design process go?
Well, then we give them a ballpark range of this is about where it is, and then if they say we'd like to go further, work with some designs, because not all bathroom needs a designer.
Yeah.
You know,
some are. I just want new cabinets.
New change out. But if it's something where you're getting the 5-piece master suite and jacuzzis and all that, then you don't want to work with a designer. And
do you guys specialize in more of that high-end stuff or any price range?
Just about any price range. We try to get, we're cabinet dealers, so we give, you know, better deals to our customers.
What cabinets do you sell?
Wellborn.
Wellborn and solid. We just became a solid rep as well.
We got some, I got them from Art of Granite, but aren't they J&K?
Yes.
I like those.
They're really nice.
Have you heard of those? I mean, there's so many cabinets out there.
No, the reason we went with like a Wellborn is they actually log their own oaks and mill them and make the cabinets out of them all in Alabama.
Can you get like a kid's bathroom done? And I say that, so let's say, I don't know, your standard Highlands Ranch Jack and Jill style bathroom. I mean, is it even feasible to think $8,000 or that's too little nowadays? Or
it depends on what you're doing. I mean, are you just
new cabinets, new sink, you know, maybe some tile instead of the standard tub that comes with a lot of these homes? I don't know. I'm just
to remove and replace everything. You're looking at least 15 to 20,000, roughly, depending on the product.
With the demo and everything. You know, me and a buddy, I wanted to save a little money on demo. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me tell you, I'll never do that again.
That went well.
I didn't realize these stupid tubs. Deputy Dan, you know, my house was built in '01, and the tub had to weigh. Oh my God!
It was porcelain.
It was so heavy. I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, I almost threw my back out along with my buddy, and I'm thinking, man, the demo's probably one of the cheapest parts.
Yeah.
But I cracked on that thing with the sledgehammer the first time, thinking it was going to break into pieces.
Put holes in our kitchen ceiling, in our walls.
Let's not get that far. We don't. Okay, so I did go through a few walls. Yes. So I created this drywall. I created a need for a drywall guy that I wouldn't have needed.
Right.
Isn't that odd? All because I wanted to save a few bucks. I really thought that, like, the tub would break into pieces. I had no idea it was actually, like...
Oh, they're solid.
Well, it's porcelain over solid steel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they weigh so much. Mark, you ever seen these things?
I've seen them. I had a house in Atlanta, and I worked on a demo of the sort of basement of it and pulled out an old antique tub, actually.
All right, listen, folks, anything you need out there as far as remodels, call these guys. You can find them on referrallist.com, but Christie's Design and Build Remodeling, been a member for over 10 years. 303-833-4715, 303-833-4715. I got to tell you what, we've got lots and lots and lots to follow up with tomorrow. My name's Mark Major, and listen, you guys have any problems, live at Troubleshooter.com. 303 Martino works on and off the air. I'll see you soon.
When you're a sports writer like me, you know, speed always wins.
And now they're side to side coming around the final turn.
Because old news isn't news at all, especially when the 24-hour...
I'm going to get with Suzanne and get that lady. I'm going to give that lady your number, and I'll have her call you.
No, I already gave her, and I have her. I just gave her everything.
I'll give her
address.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So if you
I'll
want
shoot you a text and just let you know that
The big thing on that, like I said, that whole thing about
Nice to meet you, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, see you there?
Dan.
Stay be a good contractor. We don't need any bad ones.
What do we have tomorrow?
It's amazing. It's amazing. You should really, if you ever want to come and see one of these, this last one was a horror story.
Let us know because, I mean, either one of us can always come out or either a project manager.
Okay. But this one you wouldn't have ever, it was way too low end. They try to do everything to save a dime.
Oh, yeah. And that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Everybody goes with the
Say it
cheap
again.
guy and they get ripped off, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
All right,
Okay.
I do.
See you. That went quick. That was one of the fastest ones.